Hey everyone, I'm Goat the GM, and welcome back to the Ret-Con-Artists. We're super excited to have finished our first story arc, and now are in an interlude episode, so that the players may reset, get their characters ready for the next mission, and learn a little bit more about the maintenance department and the people that make it tick. I've mentioned before that I really wanted to get Icosa Hex and Max Anthem involved a lot more with the stream, and you'll see this episode that we do just that. We're all really excited with where this project is leading us, so keep your ears to the ground in the Twitter. That's all I'm going to say, because I say it again at the start of the episode. Again, thank you all for being here and listening and watching with us. Without you guys, there really wouldn't be a whole lot of point of making a story, because who would we tell it to? So much like our lovable characters are about to do, kick back and relax this episode. It's going to be a fun one. I don't know again where we are in the music, but we're gonna do this thing.
We're right here. Right now.
Okay. Welcome everyone. Welcome back to the Ret-Con-Artists. I'm Goat the GM. We've got the crew here. Say hello, everybody.
Good morning.
For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, we are the Ret-Con-Artists. We are an actual play D&D stream, and we like to tell stories and do stupid things in fantasy worlds. In the background, you can't see them yet, but you will see them shortly. We've got Max Anthem and Icosa Hex. I did have it before where they pop up, but I've changed out the layout a little bit, so I don't want to fuck around with that and mess something up. But say hello to them. Hey, Cotty, and welcome back. What else do we have? Mr. Average Jack, welcome back, everybody. Cotty.
He's talking about me.
Yeah, I think he's talking about Josh.
Or Paul.
Or Paul.
What'd I do?
You're
Don't
the
worry
hot girl
about
now.
You're the hot girl of the D&D stream.
Very good. Very good.
All right, guys. So again, thank you for joining us. This is the interlude episode. It's going to be really interesting. We're just kind of having a little bit of fun tonight. We're going to update everybody on what's been happening. First and foremost, we've got a lot of big things planned for you guys. We recently have decided on a really good path for our project, and it's going to be in the works here. We're going to have a Discord coming under the name of Ret-Con-Artists, so make sure that you stay tuned to the Twitter for that. Make sure that you check back here for that, because we're going to start posting the link once it's built up and once it's ready to go for you guys to come and get your butt grooves all settled in there, because we want to make sure that you guys have a wonderful place that you can come and do anything Ret-Con-Artists and anything Ret-Con-Artists and D&D related. Thank you again, you guys. Let's jump right into it. I think last we left off, and we'll have a recap. This is after our first story arc of Gold Gods and Goblins. The Trixie Trio did their best to save a giant's child and help a town from being oppressed by a greedy, fat mining dude. And what else?
Well, he got turned into Play-Doh.
No, he got turned into Jello. And we saved the
pretty
kids.
well.
And then
We did save some children. It was quite nice.
Yeah, they didn't die.
Good. Well, now that that's all sufficiently recapped, we're gonna be getting right back to where we left off, and that was the crew came back from doing all those wonderful Jello saving things, if that's what you want to call it.
We didn't save the Jello. We caused the Jello.
I stand by what I said.
Terrible.
And they were successfully inducted as fixers for the maintenance department, which is headed by Gloriero and his right-hand man, Kilroy Bevington. I think that the best time to start off is in the party itself. They walk into the mess hall, and all of the fixers and all of the crew of the maintenance department are standing there singing a song, welcoming them in. And there's just a bunch of joy and ruckus and drinks and food and games and you name it. It's basically a college frat party, but for mercenaries. So picture that, if you will. Also, I think that needless to say, I want to retcon one thing. Yeah, that's the first one of the night. I recall from the last episode, and I just want to make sure I get this out on the table, from the last episode, at the very end, Glorio refused money, saying that they only ever do it for the glory. However, that'll be explained away. He actually did refuse from the town of Ascona, but he doesn't always refuse. They do have to fund and pay the bills somehow. So there we go. Retcons, but is there actually 10 already? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow. Max, I hear you, or I see you talking, but I don't hear you talking. Uh-oh. All right, well, we'll give Max a chance to fix his audio, but I believe that was a yes, that there is 10. All right, so you guys are in the mess hall. You've got people drinking, laughing, playing games, generally being heathens around you. Bjorn, Tim, and Tarvok. What are you doing? What are you
party?
Partaking in?
In the party?
In the party?
I'm gonna try every single different type of food.
Again.
That they have. Again. But it's dinner time, not breakfast.
All right.
So I'm gonna try all the dinner food.
You wander over to the buffet after everyone's given everybody slaps on the back and shaking their hands and welcoming in and introducing themselves, and there's so many names that you don't actually really remember. But you make your way over to the buffet, and you see Kilroy Bevington, fancy that, standing there filling his plate and just taking stuff from the buffet, putting it on his plate, waiting a second, grabbing it, and eating it. What are you going for first? You going for the meats, the veggies? Everything. All right. You start piling your plate high, and Kilroy sees you come up, and he says, welcome back. I hope you're enjoying the party.
Yes.
Excellent.
And now I'm going to go get more of him.
Okay.
I'm just going to grab him.
All right. I'm basically stalling until Max is able to figure out his microphone. Are you got some...
Can you hear me?
I can hear you!
Ah!
There we go.
Yes.
Wow. No wonder no one's been able to hear me the whole time.
I just thought you were being quiet.
Yeah, right?
No,
It's
I
like
was
he's
responding, but I was just kind of sitting here.
I'm so sorry.
It's all good. Now we know. But what I did say about the retcons by the Ret-Con-Artists, we might have to retcon that number. I think it's 10. It might be like 9 or 8. I don't remember.
Okay.
10
so we
is
gotta
a
go
good
back and
number.
maybe fix that.
Maybe
10's quite rounded. 10's good. 10's good.
Yeah.
Nice and
Good
even.
stuff.
I should write that down in my notes.
All right, so Bjorn, you're over at the buffet, and I've got Tarvok standing there, just basically being surrounded by people. You're looking up at this big ring of people, and there's a couple of other dwarves there, actually. A couple of them are hill dwarves, a couple of them are mountain dwarves, but they all seem very friendly to you, and you're with some of your own kind. What are you doing here at this time, do you think?
Well, I'm going to be doing the only thing that I feel that a dwarf's going to do. I'm going to go drink and eat because it's dinner time, which means they got dinner meat. Oh, it's been a long day and I need to eat. And I yelled a lot and I'm parched. I might actually drink some water.
Oh my god.
All right, so you make your way over as well to the buffet, and you meet up with Bjorn and Bevington as they're stuffing their faces. Tim, what are you up to right now?
Tim's gonna go look to see if what kind of games or contests are going on around here. If it's a party, there's people playing beer pong. There's got to be something going on. There's got to be bets being placed.
Beautiful. All right, you wander over towards the sparring area, where a lot of the, like, just after the pool tables and stuff. Everyone's just kind of social around the pool tables and all that stuff. But you see in the sparring area, there's a bit of a crowd hanging out over there, and you go to investigate, and you see that there's actually some friendly wrestling matches happening. What do you do when you arrive at these wrestling matches then?
Yeah, he's gonna take a look around, see if there's any wagers being placed here, any friendly bets.
Okay.
In an effort to possibly line his pocket.
Beautiful. All right. You know what? I'll make you roll a perception check or investigation, just to see if you can find if anyone's dropping some cash here.
There it is. Yeet. That's a 5.
All right.
Oops, nothing here.
You just hear a bunch of shouting. You see some people like waving money in the air, but by the time it's gone, you don't know whose hands it's traded off to.
Dang it.
You do know that there's definitely something going on there in terms of some bets, though. So if you kind of keep paying attention to it, you might figure it out. We're gonna cut back to Bjorn and Tarvok over at the buffet. You're all standing there, basically watching Bevington stuff his face while you stuff your own, and you hear a familiar female voice from off to your side, walking into the mess hall, and you hear the voice say, "Well, it looks like you didn't get your asses handed to you." And
Totally
you
don't
turn
remember her name.
and you see Ileana, the female human fighter, standing there with a very strange looking individual. And this strange individual is a tiefling man. And he's got golden horns, golden eyes, red skin. Sorry, no, brownish skin. I'm sorry. He's more brownish skin. Red hair, though. Big bushy red beard. And he's not wearing a shirt. All he's wearing is like this silk purple vest. And there's this little blue glowy crown floating on top of his head. And I'm just going to switch this scene right there. Why don't you introduce yourself there, Max?
Hello, I am Max.
I didn't mean you.
You said yourself. I don't know what you're talking about.
Ileana actually gestures over to her compatriot and says, I'm sorry I couldn't come with you guys on your mission. I heard it was a success. This is my trainer, I guess. His name's Arthur. Arthur, these are my acquaintances, I guess.
Acquaintance is a
So
good
as she
word.
says that, Arthur is already saying his name repeatedly to like everybody else around him. So he's just kind of like turned around like, oh, hello, and he's, you know, and you hear him say his name is he calls himself Arthur. But every so often he'll give somebody a little bit more of a name, and he says his name is and now Ruthie, correct me if I pronounce this incorrectly. Shah Arathar Najima Taj.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
Did I say it correctly? Okay, so every so often he like says off this long name, and usually when he does it, he kind of reaches out and kind of puts his hand on that person, and he turns back as she introduces, and he goes, "Oh, hello."
Hello.
Oh, sorry. I had a mouthful
My.
of delicious ale there, my friend.
He was
It's,
drinking.
You seem to be having a problem there. I don't quite understand. Oh, you're a drunk. That makes more sense. Do you have any more?
I'm not a drunk. I just
Anyway,
enjoy
who are
to
you?
drink.
And he looks over at whoever's standing next to Tarva.
I'm Bjorn.
Hello. Is that all you are?
Let it hang there.
Yeah, Bjorn doesn't talk very much. He's very direct and to the point.
I can chew on the hang
Hey.
time.
Well, you can sure reach a few points, I'm sure. And he kind of like looks up, like at how tall Bjorn is, because Arthur is only like 5'5", 5'6", so he's a pretty short kind of dude. Pretty small guy too.
Bjorn's like
He doesn't really look
6'6".
like much. Yeah, so he's a full foot taller. He's just kind of like looking up at him. And then he looks over at, I assume Tim would be standing there as well. Or no, he's over by the buffet, right?
No, at the little wrestling thing that's going on.
So yeah, he looks at you and he's just like, "But aren't you just quite the dynamic duo, aren't you? I don't know. What have you been up to?" And he just kind of like, as he says that, he kind of like looks off, like he's occupied somewhere else.
I'm gonna try to touch the crown on his head.
Okay.
We're up to things.
As you go to try to touch it, he snaps his finger, and it disappears.
Beautiful.
He's gonna look extremely confused. He's gonna put his
Visible
hand back.
confusion.
Like,
So,
okay.
as you guys are doing all of your introductions, Ileana just kind of has been half paying attention. She clearly is happy to see you guys. There's actually more of a smile on her face than you've ever really seen before. And she turns back from looking over at the wrestling match and she goes, so I take it you all succeeded your mission. I did hear it went well, but are you all gonna stick with this? Do you think you're gonna work with the maintenance department? I think I will for a while. I'm not sure.
I get the feeling that once you join, you can't leave. I have to give it some thought. I mean, I do have a caravan. It's basically my home. But I have the opportunity for a lot of travel here, and I've met some fun people.
Well, I'll say this much. Arthur here, he told me that he's been here for about 8 months, and this was kind of his way of proving himself as a trainer.
It was 7 months.
I'm
It was
sorry.
7 months.
I need to pay attention. I'm really sorry. Good thing I'm a part of the crew
Yes,
now, and you
you
can't
do.
fire me, right?
And he just kind of like looks back away a different direction.
And Ileana kind of gathers herself a little bit after that awkward encounter and goes, "Well, I'm gonna go see what the hell's going on over there." And she kind of walks over towards the wrestling match.
It's weird to see a tiefling take anyone under their wing. It's not very common.
Yeah, it's weird to talk to a dwarf that can speak proper.
Burn.
I
Bjorn
don't know
is
if I-
just, like,
He just starts
awkwardly,
laughing after that.
Awkwardly looking at all of this conflict, just like, so, like, aggressive.
No, it's
Arthur starts like laughing to himself, though, like laughing at his terrible joke.
it's,
Like, he
it's,
only
it's,
looks up.
it's fine. This is just their sense of humor being, dirty elves and all. I'm going to buy you a drink. Although I don't really need to buy it here. I'm going to get you a drink.
I'll join you, and he follows you wherever you go.
Beautiful. All
I'm
right.
gonna stay where I'm at.
Just
keep... All right then.
so you hear "I've got odds on the small one" from Ileana, as she seems to have found whoever's making bets over there. And we're gonna cut back over to Tim. Tim, you see Ileana join the group, and you hear the "I've got odds on the small one" as you see a dwarf and a half orc actually battling it out in the middle of this ring. It's literally just started this fight. And they basically like gotten down to their loincloths, and they're just tossing each other around in this big dirt ring. You see Ileana, actually, she's dropping a few gold coins in the hand of just a small maintenance crew member, or maintenance department member, sorry. Appears to be maybe a researcher or something. He doesn't seem like a fixer, but he's just kind of standing there taking all the bets and being, you know, just rattling off, oh, yeah, blah, 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 like telling all the bets to everybody. I take it you're interested.
Indeed.
Okay, what do you do?
Tim's gonna walk over, kind of like weasel his way through the crowd. How much to get in? On the betting. I don't want to get nothing.
Almost this smaller man. You can see he's an elf. He's a wood elf, and he's about.
I'm gonna speak to him in Elvish then.
Sure. He hears you speak to him in Elvish, and he just kind of like, you see he doesn't notice you quite yet, but when he hears you say that in Elvish, he just kind of smirks a little bit and turns over and he says, "Brother," as he's turning. But when he locks eyes with you, and he sees you're a half elf, his face just kind of drops a little bit. But he's still smiling, and he goes, you're the new one of the new ones. Yes. It's 5 gold coins to enter. Odds are actually 3 to 1 on the large one here."
So how much is the house making on this?
Enough. I wouldn't worry too much. It's very fair. Trust me.
What say I up that ante? Can I get a percentage?
What's in it for me?
I'll get people to bet more. Or try to. Worst case scenario, I'll drop 10.
Says, I'll tell you what. You get 6 more bets from the crowd here. You ask 10 people. If you get 6 people to bet, I'll cut you in on the percentage. But I get to choose the percentage depending on what we get.
Now, you said the odds are on the small one?
So far, the small one is actually, he's not the favorite. It's 3 to 1 against him.
What if I can make the small one the favorite?
Good luck.
Deceive the crowd.
All right, what are you going to do?
Is it time for
Tim's gonna-
persuasion?
Oh no. No persuasion. Deception. I'm lying. He's gonna stand up on the closest like banister that he can find.
Turnbuckle or whatever, yeah.
Something. Ladies and gentlemen, if I can have your attention for one moment.
And you get maybe a few people looking over. It's quite loud over here. You're gonna need to get their attention for sure.
All right. Well, I'll try to intimidate him then.
Okay.
So,
so you yell what?
You want me to roll for that first to go based on the response?
These are kind of weird. You go ahead and just do what you say, and I'll tell you the response after you roll.
Okay, so Tim's going to stick his hand in the air and cause an explosion in the palm of his hand.
Are you basically shooting a fireball into the ceiling?
No, just dust pop.
Oh, okay. What spell is that?
Enough to make a noise. It is a firebolt, but
oh, okay.
It's not like he's
not like I'm
powering
launching
the
it.
ceiling.
Oh, okay, I got you.
I'm not trying to damage the place that I work for. Jeez.
You gotta pay for that out of your paycheck.
Work now.
All right. Go ahead and roll your intimidation then.
Heal. It closed. App.
Well, that's a nat 1. So
16.
16. All right. You stick your hand up in the air, let off a desk pop. What do you tell them? Sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I can have your attention, please.
All right. At this moment, they all turn to look at you because the pyrotechnics they didn't expect.
Kitty.
Now, word on the street is, the small one over there is not favored. Now, would you be willing to bet that I know something you guys don't about him? Something special about half-breeds, seeing as how I am one myself.
Go ahead and roll your persuasion.
I'm lying.
Or sorry, your deception. Brain fart.
Now we're talking.
Nat
What?
20?
Nat 20.
Nat
Oh my
20.
God.
First one of the night. All right. Good stuff. All right. Go ahead and spin your yarn, my friend.
Half-breeds have something within them. Something most people don't know. An untapped potential. So are you sure you want to go with a full-breed dummy? Let me assure you, these hands don't lie, and they've severed heads.
He says
There is
as
evidence.
he lies.
I have 2 friends that have seen it themselves. Now I ask, are you sure the half-breed's not something worth betting?
You see a few people in the crowd just kind of like inspired by you, just kind of wiping a tear, and then they all turn towards the bookie and start throwing coins at him and say, change with that. And let me just see, you rolled a nat 20, so...
Well, and my deception's a +7. I don't know if that means anything.
Yeah, no, that nat 20's a nat 20, man. I'm going to say you...
+7.
You get pretty well 90% of the entire crowd actually throwing bets. There's a few people who are just betting against for the sake of it, but you get like 90% of the crowd betting against it. And yeah, it's a ringing success. And this small elf man turns to you and just kind of goes, shakes his head, smiles a little bit more. You can tell he likes you a little bit more now. And yeah, the fight continues on. I'm gonna roll some dice here. All right, half orc. I'm literally just rolling strength checks against each other here. All right, so the
I'm
half
so nervous right now.
Yeah, yeah, this is riveting. The half orc leg sweeps the dwarf, and as he does, the crowd just comes up and just roars, and all of a sudden the dwarf grabs a handful of sand, throws it in the half orc's face, makes him stagger back a little bit, and you hear the crowd kind of and then as the dwarf is charging, the crowd just kind of shouts, "Look out!" and the half orc is able to dodge to the side, leg sweep the dwarf again, and the dwarf goes tumbling out of the ring, and he has successfully won the match. The half elf kind of gathers all the bets, he counts it all out, comes up to you afterwards, and he goes, "Here's your cut," and he slips you let's say let me roll for that actually. Let's randomize this shit. Okay. He gives you 35 gold coins. All right. Well done.
It's a pleasure to do business.
Beautiful. You are sitting there counting your stacks, and a lot of people in the room have actually started gathering around the wrestling ring by this point. And from out of nowhere, you see Bevington. He's just kind of like wiping his face, and he tosses a plate off to the side. He kind of goes, dips under the ring and stands in the middle. Does one of these with his coat. And everyone just goes silent. The amount of respect that people have for Bevington in this room is incredible. How is he going to do this? Everyone's expecting Bevington to say something or to announce that he's going to be the next to fight. But all he does is just kind of dips his head off to the left-hand side, and you see Gloriero walk into the middle of the dirt ring in nothing but his pants and boots. And he's just this big, like, rippling... You wouldn't guess this under his uniform. You could tell he was formidable before. But he is, like, absolutely shredded and covered in scars. You can tell he's lived a hard life of battle. And he stands in the middle, and he looks over to Bevington, and he says, I believe we've had a challenge in the past. And he looks over the crowd and he points to the tallest person in the room, which is Bjorn Saxisson.
That's me. All right. Bjorn's gonna stand up very slowly and he's going to walk through the crowd of people and says, I've been looking forward to this.
So
And
before,
I
oh, so there we go.
was gonna say, and before he starts, he's gonna do the blue streaks of his hand, and he's gonna offer to do it to what's his butt? Gloria.
You said his name like 3 times.
Gloria. Shut up. Gloria.
All right, sounds good. So I'll say that you walk into the ring, and as you're putting the paint on your hands, and you gesture for hands. He's smiling. He walks up to you and he puts his hands out straight and he lets you do the thing. And
Bjorn says, "Let this be an honorable battle."
And says, "I wouldn't have it any other way." Max, you had something you wanted to mention.
Yeah, was Arthur near Bjorn when he stood up to get called in the ring?
I think so.
Probably. Yeah. You guys just went to go to the buffet line and then come back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, I just wanted to make sure before I did it. So as soon as Bjorn gets called into the ring, Arthur would have put his hand, well, not on his shoulder, because even sitting down, he would have been tall. Maybe like on his arm, and he would have just whispered some words to him. He'd just been like, "You fight well," and he's gonna put a bardic inspiration on him.
Hey, go ahead and let me know what that does exactly, please, for the crowd.
Yeah. So it's a bonus action, and you gain inspiration die, so 1d6 for 10 minutes. Bjorn can add it to one ability check, attack roll, or saving throw. It can be added after seeing the roll as well, so Bjorn will be able to perform any of those things and then decide to roll a d6 to add to the result to give him more of an advantage.
Okay.
Perfect. So, Bjorn, you are in the ring. I believe Tim is probably standing there taking bets now as well.
Yeah, he walked back and got back in with the other elf.
Okay, perfect. Tarvok,
Just
where are
hyping
you
it up.
at this moment?
Oh, I decided to follow. I'm out right next to the ring with a mouthful of food. You can kick his ass. I mean, look at him. I bet you that if you punch him in the wee.
Wonderful.
No disrespect there, Mr. Gloriero, but you're going down because he's going to punch you in the wee bits.
Just chuckles at that and he says, "Now there's rules. Kilroy, would you kindly please?" Kilroy says, "Of course, sir." And he steps up and kind of straightens himself up as much as a small man can. And he says, "The rules are as follows. This will be a full contact battle. No dirty fighting, no hitting below the belt. Anything else goes. No biting, no hair pulling. If you are knocked out of the ring, you lose. If first blood is drawn on you, you lose. If you give up and tap out, you lose. Any questions?"
Magic's not allowed, right?
I've got a question
Correct.
for you. So, I think it's because I'm a little drunk, but what if he's in a weird hold and the only way out is tickles the chocolate starfish?
I said other than grabbing and hitting below the belt, pulling hair, or biting, anything goes.
Tickling is fine.
Tickling is fine.
Oh, there you go. And you just
I wouldn't recommend it. And just goes, I'm not really that ticklish.
well, that's all the ideas I got, Bjorn. You're on your own. I tried.
Thank you for your advice.
It's what I do.
All right.
Go
Tim,
get him.
Tim, I think what you got going on right now is like 50-50 odds. People are betting equally on either side here. There's some of the veterans that have known forever, and they, no matter what, they're going to bet on him. But there's a lot of people that see this person who's a couple inches taller and very, very formidable looking. Are you still wearing like your tunic and stuff? I take it, Bjorn. Or are you getting down to like just the pants as well, kind of thing?
I matched as I was walking.
Okay, perfect. We retcon that. As you're walking in the ring, you're dropping off the chainmail and
Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
handing a
the
small
crowd.
fan your hammer.
Here, Tarvok. Here, take my hammer.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. So, you know, I'm strong, right? But this is a big hammer, and I got the meat sweats. I'm gonna sit on it. So I just kick the hammer over and sit down on it. It's not bad, actually. I've sat on worse.
I'm not gonna ask what part you're sitting on, but all right.
The pole.
Okay. So Bevington's finished with his rules. Tim is taking bets. Tarvok's just being Tarvok. And where are you at this point, Arthur? I know that you did the blessing, and sorry, not the blessing. Your inspiration. But did you go and join the hubbub there too?
Oh yeah, Arthur did the inspiration, and then he kind of waited for most of the crowd to gather around the ring, and then he made it a point to kind of push his way back towards the front,
Okay.
to get in front of everybody else so he could see what's going on. And he's just kind of standing there with a I don't know what they have. Do they have wine or rum? I assume something like that.
Absolutely.
We'll say he has like a mug of wine, which is
Okay.
It's not a glass; it's like a mug. He's just kind of standing there sipping it, just kind of watching.
Beautiful. And you guys also notice Ileana. She's just standing there clapping, getting ready, like kind of bouncing on her balls of her feet, ready for this fight. You see Lush in the crowd, and he's going, ooh, just kind of trying to hype everybody up. You see Laughter even standing there, and the receptionist Laughter, and she's just kind of like giving you
In the process of all this hype and bet management, Tim's throwing 20 gold on each fighter.
All right. I don't know how that helps you, but all right.
Hey, whoever wins, I make more.
True, I guess.
Depending on how much gold gets thrown in there, come on.
Fair enough. Or at least you break even.
Or, yeah, either way.
All right. So Bevington scurries out of the ring. He kind of hops up on a bench behind the ring area, and you guys make your way to either side. And Bevington just raises his hand and he says, "Begin." Roll initiative, please.
Bjorn's gonna let him go first.
So, okay,
Ooh.
interesting. How? I take it that just means that you're gonna stand there and let him take a free hit kind of thing, or how are you doing it? You're just kind of waiting.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait and then I'm gonna try and react.
All right,
I'm gonna let
Arthur
him
is
do the
impressed
first
by
move.
this.
cool. All right, so yeah, Mr. Gloriero, he, as soon as Bevington says begin, he's also kind of holding back a little bit, and he's got his hands raised, and he kind of gives you a little wink, steps forward a little bit, puts his hand out for like a bump, fist bump in friendly sportsmanship.
Bjorn returns the fist bump and goes
Okay.
back to getting ready.
I thought you were going to shun him for a second. I was like, ooh.
No. Bjorn's not like that.
That's some shade from the giant. Oh,
All right, so Bjorn returns the fist bump, and as soon as you touch your hand on his, comes in for an overhand strike with his right hand. And I wonder, what is AC? So I think your AC minus your armor is going to be down to 16 now. Is that correct?
I think so.
Because you were originally 18 and you were wearing chainmail. Let me just double check that real quick.
I think it should be lower than 16.
Yeah, it's
No,
what
I was
does
gonna say
chainmail add, yeah?
shield. I have a shield. I guess because I have a shield as well.
Right.
So that's what the 2 is for, and then I also have a 16 chainmail.
It should be nothing but your dexterity if you're wearing nothing.
Yep.
Is
So it'd
it?
be
Okay.
9 plus dex.
Okay, easy peasy.
Or is it 10? 9 or 10
I think
plus
it's
dex.
I
I
think
can't
it's
remember.
10 plus dex,
10.
yeah.
So I would have an 11 then.
All right, cool. So I'm going to throw an overhand strike. And he is going to hit. He's gonna hit you square on the side of the face, actually. For what is it? 2 plus 3 is 5 points of damage. I can't do math.
And that's because
so
he did math.
just ahead of time, I'll let you guys know. First blood is gonna happen when you get to half hit points.
Okay, I was supposed to be like, oh darn, we already lost. Okay.
All right. What are you gonna retaliate with here?
Well, he's gonna hit me, and then I'm going to let it follow through. I'm going to try and, like, I don't know how fights work, so it looks cool in my head, but spin around and try and, like, hit him in the back. So it'd be like he uses
Spinning
that and
back
uses,
fist?
tries to
Okay.
hit him like that.
Sweet. All right. Roll me an attack. I believe that would be probably using Dex.
Dex instead of
Yeah,
to hit.
because it's involving a spin and like a blind backhand attack kind of thing, right?
Yeah. So 17.
17. That more than hits. All right. Roll me a 1d4 damage plus your Dex modifier.
Oh no, I need to add it. 4.
And now you are. Sorry, I forgot to mention the inspiration again. Don't forget about that during this fight. For the next 10 minutes, you do have the inspiration, the bardic inspiration, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, are we too late on this roll for that one? I believe. No, you can add an extra 1d6. I believe.
It lasts 10 minutes, so until she uses it or Bjorn uses it.
Right. So
I
it's,
can
and
add
you said
an
it was an
extra
extra
d6 to my
1d6.
damage.
Yes.
Beautiful.
It can be added to ability check, attack roll, or saving throw.
I guess we'll just do the d6 for damage.
Oh, it's
'cause
not
who
for
knows?
damage. Sorry.
Oh no, it's not for damage. Yeah.
Right,
Okay,
sorry,
I was
okay.
about to be like, ow.
So it's just to bolster your attacks. Okay.
Yeah, not damage.
All right. Cool. Is gonna retreat a little bit, and he's gonna kind of change his stance up. Actually, he kind of goes southpaw now, and he just kind of goes, "All right, let's do this." He smiles as he's kind of rubbing his chin from where you hit.
So is he gonna let me do the next round?
Sounds like it.
All right. Bjorn's gonna do a small little bow, and he's going to go ahead and go for a punch.
Okay.
Alrighty. You said plus dex, that'd be 13. So then
13?
if that doesn't hit, I'll go ahead and add my d6.
That barely hits. You actually, what kind of attack are you doing here? Like just a straight up face punch kind of thing?
I'm going for a punch to the gop. Just,
All right. Yeah.
well, actually, I think I'm gonna go for the stomach.
Okay.
Nothing below the belt, but doesn't mean I can't hit the belt.
Right. So you charge in a little bit, and you give him this nice little uppercut right in the solar plexus, and you hear a as he takes it right in the gut. Roll your damage.
5. 4 plus 1.
All right. And it is turn. While you're standing there with your hand in his gut area, he takes that opportunity to kind of drop down a little bit, and he's going to try and drop you to the ground by taking out your legs. He's just going to like grab you and wrestle your legs out from underneath you.
Okay.
This is going to be a strength contest.
Okay.
So
Where's the mud?
Where's the jello?
Oh my.
Okay, so it's to beat my strength.
Yes.
Tell him to beat an 18 plus 4.
Oh goddamn. Okay, let's see what he gets. Yeah, you win. I'll give
He
you a
tries,
chance.
and I'm just like, "What are you doing, man?"
Yeah, he just kind of like grabs you under the thighs and kind of shoves you back about 5 or 10 feet. You're kind of close to the edge. You're about 5 feet away from the edge of the ring, but he's actually still kind of grappling onto you. It's now your turn.
So he's grappling on my legs.
Yeah, he's basically down around your waist, holding onto your thighs.
what you do in that situation. You just kick him. Get off me.
What are you doing?
Tarvok,
What are
what do I
those?
do?
Pick him up from the stomach and throw him on his head.
Ooh, suplex.
That's what I'm gonna do.
All
I'm
right.
doing what Tarvok told me to.
All right. So if you're just gonna go ahead and pick him up, he's already holding on to you, so he's not really gonna
Pick
be able to
myself
resist
up as
it.
well.
But you're gonna need a
Then
pretty
just
decent.
drop on him.
Yeah, you're gonna need a pretty decent strength check. So you go ahead and pick him up. Roll me a 18 or higher strength, please.
19.
Ayo. All right, so you've hoisted up over your shoulders, and I am gonna give him a chance to try and bust out as he's coming down, because I believe you're just gonna drop him on the ground, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna do what
Tarvok
Tarvok
said.
told me to do.
All right. As you go to drop him on the ground, he does try and wriggle out a little bit, and he fails miserably. You drop him right on the square of his, or the small of his back, and again you've knocked the wind out of him. You hear oof again, and
Name from to oof.
yeah.
But once as I
Oof,
drop him,
Gloria.
I want
Yeah.
to back off from him, so that
Okay.
way he has time to recover. He doesn't have to hurry or anything.
Okay.
It'll be his turn to go first.
All right. I'm gonna make him take some fall damage from that though. With what's your strength modifier again?
Mine is +4.
Okay, because you were using your strength to assist his fall, I will say. That is 7 damage.
Goodness gracious, Jordan's beating the crap out of this guy.
I wanna tug on one of the other watchers and look at him. Oh, do you see that? Ah, Bjorn snapped into him like this fella named Slim Jim.
Oh my god.
Tarvok, I'm gonna have to ask you to give me a break.
Give you a break.
Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
No, I understand. I got you.
I believe got yeeted.
That was a yeet, indeed. All right, so you disengage from he's gonna use his turn actually to get to his feet and gather his breath. He's pretty winded right now. I'm just looking up at chat randomly here, and I just see that's it. I'm leaving. By the way, I'm going to take a quick moment here because I know I don't really talk to chat very much, but I do want to acknowledge Archdragon121 and Spiegel54. Thank you so much for the follows tonight, you guys. Very nice of you, and welcome. All right, so gets to his feet, gathers his breath, and it took him a full turn to do that. So I'm going to give you a chance. Are you taking another turn now?
Eat him again.
I'm gonna wait.
You're
for
gonna,
him to be
you're gonna
ready.
give him another chance.
Wait until he's glowing, and then you can hit him for a star.
So
I gotta
decides
stop
to-
drinking.
I'm
decides
going to actually ask him
Oh,
if
yeah?
he's okay. If you want. Do you want to continue?
Breathing heavily, and he just goes, "Did I say stop?" And he's gonna try and pull an attack on you here. Your AC right now is 11, right? He's gonna use his dex. It's gonna hit. He got a 16 total. Actually charges towards you, and at the very last second, he kind of does this feint to the right, jumps up on the fencing of this ring, and like on the turnbuckle where everybody's standing on the one side, and leaps off and comes at you with a flying fist, and connects squarely on the side of your face again.
Supermaned him off the wall.
Basically, yeah.
Oh.
You're going to take 4 points of damage. And he lands behind you a little bit and disengages again and goes, "Again, did I say stop?"
I get up off the hammer. Oh, he used his signature move. I think that was the glory arrow. He had it here from somewhere. Right? Yeah. Why is nobody else in here? Why are you all so solemn?
The crowd's actually absolutely loving it, but they cannot keep up with Tarvok's energy. Even Bevington is like looking over at Tarvok and just laughing his ass off. And he looks over at Tarvok with his mug of whatever he's got, and he just raises it towards you.
Oh, he knows. He's got it.
Tim, you've already accepted a bet from Bevington, actually, and it was, of course, on Glory Arrow. But you see him actually look over at you after that, and he goes, and he kind of does one of these, and he goes, "Can I switch?" Like he mouths that.
Tim will just wink and point.
And Bevington raises his mug once again and just kind of winks back. Starts enjoying the fight once more. All right, Bjorn, you have your back to your leader, your fearless leader. What are you gonna do?
Okay, well, I'm gonna turn around and I said, then I won't stop. And I'm gonna go for it.
All right.
I'm gonna go for a
Headbutt him. Nobody wins with a headbutt.
So Tim says headbutt, that's what I'm gonna do.
Oh no.
Oh shit.
Alright, that's a 17.
I assume you're using strength on that one?
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Is that
Yeah,
what
oh,
you
if
used
I'm using
Oh, that was-
if
that
I'm
was a
using
natural
strength, that's
17?
a 20, man.
Oh,
I rolled
shit.
a 16
Okay.
on that.
Yeah, you definitely hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
Am I using my strength to modify that?
Yep.
Ah, that's a 7.
All right, pictures of his kids because he's not going to remember them now.
Oh god, I didn't realize we were cracking skulls. I hope he's got good insurance.
You turn around and is kind of within arm's reach. If you take a step forward, you grab him by both shoulders.
I'm just gonna go.
Yeah, you basically just kind of wrap your arms around his shoulders and you just smash right down on the bridge of his nose. And you hear a crunch and he backs up and it's crooked, but it's not bleeding. It's not bleeding. And backs up and you can see he's shook. He's definitely dazed right now. And he goes like this and he checks his nose and he goes, and he just smiles and shakes his head at you. He is shook. Exactly. And he's gonna
Now he's gonna talk like this.
He better hurry because Bajorn's not stopping.
Yeah, he's
I'm
actually,
gonna go again.
He backs up. He backs up about 7 feet.
Okay.
And he's just waiting there. You can tell he's changing up his tactic a little bit. He's just waiting. So it's your turn again. He's dropping his turn.
So I can heal myself?
No magic.
I was gonna say, because I can just heal myself and I can go. Because I thought he said we could heal we could use magic.
No. The question was, is there magic? And then in the hubbub I said no magic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just in the middle of battle, Bjorn's like, yeah, cure wounds.
I'm gonna be like, by the power of Thor, just. Okay. Well.
Ooh, it feels good.
All right. So I'm just gonna go and attack. I'm gonna go and attack him again.
Okay.
He told me not to stop, and I'm not gonna.
All right. What kind of attack are you doing here?
I rolled a 19 on whatever I'm gonna fucking do. So I just gotta think of it. 19 plus 4. So I hope that hits. Well, chat says uppercut, so I guess I'm going for uppercut.
Okay.
Thor dragon punch.
You're a good 7 to 10 feet away from him, so
I'm gonna fucking charge.
You're actually you've activated his trap card. He's actually he was waiting. That was his turn that he dropped. He was holding his turn until he noticed you charging. As you're doing this, he's actually gonna try and sidestep out of the way with a dex check. Since you rolled so high, I'm gonna make it a pretty high dex check for him.
I'm gonna say, man, I roll so high. That's mean.
As you're charging towards him, he tries to get out of the way, and you can see what he's doing.
Jordan's too good for
He's
this.
he's right at the edge of the ring, of where the line of the ring is on the dirt side, and he was trying to feint you out so that you would just basically go barreling out. But he's not quick enough for you, and your uppercut connects right underneath the chin. Roll damage.
That's a 4 plus 4, so 8.
All right.
Oh, he ain't pretty no mo.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
So as kind of stumbles over his feet as he's trying to get out of the way, he's still dazed from that headbutt. You connect solidly underneath his chin, and you just hear a crunch as
Oh, there
you
goes the
see
teeth.
he bites his tongue,
Mhm.
and
Oh,
his
God.
head snaps backwards, and he just kind of teeters there for a second, and he goes, and a little bit of blood sprays out of his mouth, and he just kind of like flops to the ground.
I want to try and catch him before he falls.
Okay, a 10 or higher dex check, please.
Oh, okay. 19.
Ruthie's
These rolls are
dice,
too...
Ruthie's dice have only 17s and 19s on them. I swear to God.
I know, but I'm not joking. See? Look
I
at that.
believe it.
Look at this 19.
All right, you actually, as your uppercut hits with your other arm, you just kind of scoop him after he spits out blood, and you hear the crowd just go.
So
just
I'm
goes
going
silent.
to use healing hands, and I'm going to heal him.
Okay.
Since I saw the blood, I'm going to put my hand on his chest and say that was well fought.
Okay. You kind of lower him down towards the ground as you're holding on to him, and as you're doing that, you can see his nose kind of like shift back into place and right itself.
Oh, God.
And he still has blood in his mouth, but you kind of could see like the piece of his tongue that was hanging off kind of flip back in and reattached itself.
I'm going to give him the smallest kisses.
I'm going with
no,
that.
No, I don't actually want to do that. That's just what chat's saying.
Now kiss.
Good fights.
I'm sorry. I'm pulling the DM card here. You do that,
no.
and then just like out of weird, strange, you don't know why,
No,
something inside you
not
just kind of go,
kissing.
and the crowd
No.
goes, oh. And he wakes up and he's like, well, that was a hell of a hit there, slugger.
There, sweet prince.
All right. Puts his hand on your shoulder and just kind of slaps it and goes, all right. And he picks himself up off the ground, dusts his pants off. You guys are both covered in dirt and sweat and a little bit of his blood. And as gets back to his feet, he looks over around at the crowd. Bevington hops down a little bit more wobbly than he was before, and he comes over to you, grabs your hand, and grabs your other arm, and he's like, Bevington, you won't be able to raise that. And throws your hand up in the air without saying a word, and the entire crowd just goes nuts. They all lose their minds, and Tim's just raking in all the money right now, taking his percentage. I'm gonna roll.
Can
for
I
that.
look at Tim and just do like this? Like, you're welcome.
Oh, absolutely, you can.
I
Tim,
bet on them both. I have no guilt. I made a 40 down payment.
Yeah, you made 137 gold off of the skimming off the top there.
Oh,
Hello.
Yeah, well, that's what you get for a nat 20 and convincing people.
How much was that?
137.
and you got like what 121 last time,
Yeah, well.
or something nuts.
Yeah.
He needs new suits.
How better share with the rest of us? I'm barely. I
Oh,
don't.
nobody else knows about the other gold that I've got, so.
I just
Mm-hmm.
want some money. I think.
Bjorn doesn't want money; he just needs things.
Which money
Alright.
can buy.
I know, but the whole
Yeah.
like just having it is not what he wants.
All right, so the crowd's just like chanting Bjorn's name, saying Saxison, Saxison over and over and over, and it's really heartwarming for you guys. Like this is probably one of the best parties you've ever been to. Bevington walks over, sees Tarvok still sitting on the hammer, just looking around with his mug, cheering with everybody else, and Bevington walks up with his mug and he turns it upside down and he goes, I'm empty. Shall we find more?
Are we all getting drinks?
And oh yes, I
Because
like
I'm
that.
there. Let's. I'm good. Let's go.
As the chanting does eventually shift to sack sis and kiss him, over and over and over, Bevington says to you again, well, I think I'm in the sporting mood as well. What do you say we have a drink off?
Oh no!
Oh no!
Place more bets, yay! More money.
Okay. I'll drink to that.
All right, so we're gonna cutscene fast forward montage a little bit to some of Arthur's music in the
Montage.
background.
Makes sense.
Arthur-
I like the montage just being like Arthur just has like suddenly pulls out a lute and he walks past, and as like those shots in movies where the scene changes as the person's walking, so it's like a
swipe,
Kinda
transition.
like a
swipe
montage.
transfer.
Yeah, that's how I
Actually,
envision.
I think Max, what are the two instruments again that Arthur has? I checked the sheet earlier.
He's multiple instruments.
Okay.
They are bagpipes, pipes, drum, pan flute.
Damn.
He only carries on him though. Hang on.
So say that's one fantastic bag of holding you've got, sir.
He doesn't carry all those things. Crap, I forgot what. Oh, he has a lute.
Ah,
That's what he carries on him right now.
Please
And-
play the song, your people, and just be like.
That's all it is. One note.
Starts playing AC/DC on the bagpipes.
No, he. So if this is a montage. You fast forward. Arthur is actually standing behind Tarvok, rubbing his shoulders, giving him
Nice.
bardic inspiration, and he's just telling him, you got this. You can do this. It is water. to you.
drinking's your
It is
life.
Nothing to you. You are a bottomless pit of. Well, no. You are a. You are a good drinker. He's trying to be like inspirational because Arthur's been drinking too, so he's just like rubbing his shoulder. And he starts playing this pan flute, just like behind Tarvok, like in this weird jovial manner, kind of like swinging around everywhere. And
I don't know what it is, but that music makes me want to drink.
Beautiful.
I think
All
Bjorn's
right.
just gonna be all dressed up, and he's just gonna sit next to Tarvok and say, "I'm here to support you."
You're gonna rub me back and gets me a puke bucket. That'd be great.
All
I
right.
go out, I get up and I take him seriously. I go get a puke bucket.
So here's the scene. This ring is a little smaller than the last one, considering it's a table. You're sitting at a round table across from Bevington. In front of you guys are just countless shots of rum and countless shots of, mugs of ale. And Bevington says, "Before I get too inebriated, I will set out the rules." And he goes on to explain that you roll a d20, not in game, of course. Like, he doesn't say you roll a d20. He says we flip this coin, and for this purpose, it's going to be 1 to 9 or 10 to 20. He says you flip this coin. If it's heads, you have to chug a mug of ale. If it's tails, you take a shot of rum. Simple as that. First person to throw in the towel, or vomit, or what have you, loses.
So, I'm all for this game, but I got to tell you, I got a conclusion. I like to drink and eat. I'm basically a little fridge. Look at me. So we're going to have some fun, me and you. Good, I've got a drinking buddy here.
Yeah, it's canon. Tarvok's new nickname is Mini Fridge.
Perfect. All right.
Well,
So
Bjorn has the
Bevington-
puke bucket.
Yeah.
Mini Fridge the murder hobo. That's how we do it in Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, I'm good. Let's do this.
Are you sure you're
That's
What?
good? Yeah. What?
What?
Bets, play 2 bets.
Oh, bets. I thought you said that's that. So I was like, what?
Tim ain't going that hard this time. He's putting 10 on each.
Oh, okay. So Bjorn's standing there with the bucket. Actually kind of comes through the crowd, winks at Bevington, gives him a thumbs up, and then stands over by Bjorn, puts a hand on the shoulder, and just goes, "Now we get to enjoy the show." And so Bevington decides to start. He says, "Age before beauty, kind sir." And he picks up his coin. And you look at the coin, and you actually see that on one side is the crest of the maintenance department. It's got the hammer, it has the sword, and it has the shovel and the triangle. However, inside of the triangle, the eye isn't there. And he turns the coin over and he shows it to you to make sure he's not cheating. And on the other side is the missing eye section of the crest itself. So heads is the eye, tails is the crest. You know the rest. And he picks it into his tiny little hand. It's actually quite big for his small halfling hand. And he rolls his, or he flips his coin, sorry. And he gets a heads. And he grabs the nearest tankard, never breaking eye contact with you. And he just skulls it back in about 3 seconds.
How are we supposed to count for damage on this?
So this is how it's gonna work, and I was working on this a little bit earlier because this is a tricky game to play. What's gonna happen is we will start at a base Constitution check. For every drink you take, the Constitution check will go up by 1. If you fail once, no big deal. You kind of have a moment of grossness. If you fail twice, you basically lose.
Okay. All right.
So the Constitution checks are going to start at 10. So he skulls back his ale, and he's going to roll his Constitution. And he's not breaking eye contact. He just goes, wipes his mouth, gestures towards you.
So the only rule here is I'm not allowed to, right?
You can't vomit, pass out, or otherwise give up.
Okay, so with that knowledge in mind, Tarbak reaches over without flipping his die, grabs a shot of rum, grabs a tankard of ale, and just pours it in. And then puts it to the lips. And if you want a Constitution check, I add my modifier, I take it.
Yes.
14.
Okay.
So without breaking eye contact,
See,
tankard goes behind me.
You've already thrown me for a loop here and broke my game. I don't know if it should change considering you basically just took 2 drinks.
So, little one, little Kilroy, drinking with the fridge now.
Kilroy looks at you and he goes, we have a cocky one here. And he does the same thing as you, actually. Because you rolled a 14 and it was more than the 10, I'm going to keep the check starting from there now because you guys are basically mixing doubles. So this is upping the ante. He basically slides this coin off to the side, grabs a shot, tosses it in there, and skulls it back. And you can see a little hint of worry in his eyes. But he clears that no problem, and he drinks it back and he goes, that wasn't as bad as I expected.
Oh, it's great. Let's do it again. I grab another shot and I grab another.
So this time is going to be this time it's going to have to be 15 or higher since we started at 14.
17.
All right.
Ooh.
And what do you say after you down the bubbly?
Oh, that one burned a little. I throw it back. I hope I'm not hitting anybody.
You hear a ow!
Sorry.
As Lush screams out from the crowd.
Lush, that was Tim.
All right.
Lush will believe anything. Don't worry about it.
Okay. It's Bevington's turn. He gets he kind of starts to reach across the table now because he's so short and he's trying to find more shots. He reaches across, grabs a shot, dumps it in his tankard, and he starts drinking it back, and he must get an air bubble or something, because you just hear a and he pulls the drink down, and he does one of these, and he's choking a little bit, and there's like ale and stuff kind of going down his short little shaved face, and he puts his finger up for a second.
Someone get him a towel. I like him. I don't want him covered. Just...
And he just
Bjorn's gonna go get a towel.
All right. You dip off to the buffet table, and while you're doing that, Bevington actually just takes his cup again, and he just finishes it back, slams it down, and he's looking a little bit cross-eyed now. He's looking a little bit wobbly. You're up.
Do you want to take a break there, Kilroy? I don't want you to get sick. I mean, it's a lot of booze.
I am helping.
And he goes, pick up or shut up.
Oh, we're getting breakfast meat tomorrow. So I grab 2 shots and I pour them both into my drink, and I throw them back.
Before you roll, this is going to be, because you just upped it again.
So
we were going to 16. I'm going to make it a 19 or higher.
Oh, that's rude.
Well, you're making a triple.
Okay, all right. Come on. 18.
18. All right.
It's only your first fail, so it's
You
fine.
have inspiration.
I do have bardic inspiration.
Roll your D6,
I will use it.
friend.
In the distance, you hear a pan flute get louder, ringing in your ears.
I love
You
that
just see
song.
Arthur, like, dancing across the table, like, next to you guys, standing over everybody.
I'm adding 3 to that, so
All right.
21.
So in the middle of your drink, you start to feel that like gross knot in the back of your throat as you're chugging back this disgusting double shot ale drink, and all of a sudden you hear this uplifting tune from Arthur in the background, and for a second you just go, oh. And then you just open up your throat and down the rest of it back, slam the tank.
Throw it back.
There
That's
you go.
the song of my people.
I have come back with a towel.
Beautiful.
Could you give it to the little one? I thought I might
Alright.
need it, but no, we're good. Oh,
I'm gonna hand the towel to Bevington.
Okay. Bevington just takes the towel. He has not broken eye. Well, he's trying not to break eye contact with Tarvok, but his eyes are getting a little bit wavery right now. Takes the towel from you, goes, "Thank you, friend." Dabs his
Yes.
face a little bit, very nonchalantly, and tries to stuff it in his pocket, but it just like flops down onto his lap. And
I'm gonna gingerly grab it from his lap and just stick it in his pocket for him.
okay, he doesn't even notice at this point. He's starting to get so drunk.
I am
And,
helping.
He grabs 2 of the shots. He ponders for a second, and now I'm just gonna go ahead and see what his. He ponders for a second, grabs a 3rd shot, reaching across even further. He's got to like almost stand up in his chair to get this shot, and he takes all 3 in his hands, and he just goes and like loosely spills them into this big mug in front of him. Looks at you and he goes, "I got you this time." And he picks up the mug and he sculls it, and this is gonna have to be a 23 or higher on his part. This is a big one.
Oh,
He's trying to prove himself.
Passes out. Just drops.
And
Face. Table.
he gets through half of it. He stops.
I have the puke bucket.
He just looks over at Tarvok and he goes, "I like you." And he's wobbly as all shit. And he kind of like gestures a little bit over to Bjorn.
Kiss.
and you see his cheeks just kind of like.
All right, here's the bucket.
And
Aim
he's
for the
holding
bucket.
his mug, and he grabs the bucket as you hand it to him, and he just like pretty well fills it. You don't know how such a large amount of booze fit in such a small man. And he just stops puking for a second. He goes, "All right." And he finishes the rest of his mug, slams it down, grabs a fresh, dirtied mug of ale, and just hops down from his chair, walks over to Tarvok, and he goes, "Sir?" And he lifts his mug towards you in a salute.
Yeah. Oh, you almost had me. I thought I was going to puke. Oh, because once you started puking, I thought I was going to.
It's just gonna be a chain of puke around the bar.
Oh,
You know what,
okay, look,
Tarvok?
we're good.
You know what? Roll me a Constitution check again to just
I-
make sure you can.
I
keep
was
it
hoping you were
together.
doing that.
Yeah, give me an 18.
6.
I have the puke bucket. I have the puke bucket.
I thought you.
You just drop basically onto the floor right in front of Bevington, and he's like trying to catch it with his mug, which is still full of ale, anyways, and he's trying to help you out here.
Please don't drink it,
Bjorn's
Bev.
rushing in with the bucket, and Bjorn, you only catch maybe like the last fifth of it.
Oh, there's a
He's
lot
gonna
of
be-
sausage in there.
Bjorn's gonna be very sad now because he only had one job
All
and
right.
he
It's-
failed.
It's okay, big fella. It's
Give you some gnarly hang.
All right, so
I
Bevington,
drank too much.
without another word, Bevington simply takes his puke ale mug, puts it on the table, turns to and goes, I believe it's time I retire. To bed, that is. I'm not putting in my 2 weeks' notice, I promise, sir. And he's just wobbly as shit. He turns on his heel and he walks towards the exit of the mess hall, and everyone just kind of parts and they're like, yeah, cheering everybody on. Tim's raking in all the money again. Tim, hold on, let me just check here.
Please.
You skim off another 56 gold.
Nice.
I'm gonna give Arvok some water.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm like a cleric. I'm clericing him.
I understand
I'm
that
gonna
it's
force him to.
it's
I'm
good-
not. He
it's-
doesn't have a choice.
It's good nature. No, I get it. But the one thing I don't need right now, Bjorn, is water, because it's gonna spread the vomit in my mouth, around my mouth. So how about you could you give me another beer? Just because the beer will wash out the ale, you see.
I'm going to put water in a beer mug and give it to him.
Okay.
Man.
Roll deception with advantage, please, against
That's
Tarvok's wisdom.
This is water.
I will not deceive you. I got a nat 20.
Oh damn!
Tarvok,
Look
this
at
is the
that.
most
What's-
watered down yet delicious brew you've ever tasted.
It's man, where I come from, they used to make this kind of potato. It's just fermented potato vodka, right? It's all clear and tastes awful. Tastes like vomit. I'm going to drink it though. You're sweet.
All right, we cut back to Bevington, who is almost completely out of the mess hall now, and he's slowly wobbled his way towards the exit. And you guys just kind of see him get towards the end, and he says, "Good night, everyone." And he just, like a tree, just timber falls backwards. And he's not very tall, so he doesn't hit super hard, but you hear this small thud as he hits the ground.
Of water dropping in a pond.
Yeah.
I know that video.
And a few people kind of rush towards Bevington to give him a hand, but before they get to him, you just hear, and he is out cold. A couple people pick him up and they start carting him off to his room.
Hey Bjorn, see that? If a shrub falls in the forest, it does make sound.
It sure does, little man.
Where's Tim? I want to tell him a joke. Tim.
All right.
Tim's
He
gone.
first. He's
So-
counting his gold.
So Tim's
Oh.
off counting his gold. We've got Arthur still just having a great time partying and getting to know you guys basically throughout the rest of the night. Tarvok, you're hammered. You're not going to remember much of this after that. And Bjorn, I'd like to think that you probably had a couple of drinks yourself because you promised some with Tarvok at some point, I believe.
I've
right?
had a couple, but no more than I've had to. I just drank a couple, and I've just been drinking like tea or water.
All right. Wonderful.
I have-
So at this
someone has to be ready for battle.
So throughout the evening, Arthur has been seen dancing on the rafters, on tables, under tables, in the middle of the fighting ring, playing his pan flute, playing the drums and anything he could find. But he also had a purpose. He had spent the evening looking for bad guys, I guess you could say. Listening for rumors, things that are going on, things that might need to be taken care of. So you can let me know if he found anything, I guess. But
Okay.
that's what he had been doing.
So Arthur's made his rounds throughout the night, and I'm gonna make sure that you guys, the rest of you players, know this is something that you haven't heard. He can share it if you want later. So, Arthur finally approaches Gloriero, who he's been drinking. He's been nursing his ouchies, but he's very much alert. And Arthur says to what are you asking people, I guess, tonight?
He's just kind of finding out what people are up to, looking for shady characters, if anyone's heard any rumors about basically anything that needs to be taken care of, whether it's from within or somewhere outside. He's looking for a mission. He's looking for something to go do, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Sad.
Leans over to Arthur and just kind of says, "You've been here for a while, so I appreciate you checking in and drumming up business. I haven't heard from my boy since we got back. He parted ways with us to go take another contract, and usually he's gotten back to me by now. I'll let you know in the morning, but if I don't hear anything by then, I'm gonna assume something's up."
This sounds most unusual.
It is. For Mason, it is. He's always been good about communicating with me. We've had a contract in the back burner. It's quite far, but you know how Mason travels. He's quick and he's efficient. But again, we haven't heard from him. Henry hasn't heard from him, so I'm gonna have to.
What do I know about Mason?
Well, you've been there about 7 months, so you do know that Mason Gloriero is son. You know that he's the envoy that is primarily one for recruiting and taking contracts. There are a few other contract takers, of course, and people can refer contracts through fixers to the front desk. But otherwise, Mason he's the best at what he does. And he is son. He's the one that we met in the second to final, I believe,
That's
episode of the first story arc. And
Okay.
very kind.
But him not getting back in time is very, very unusual.
Yeah. And I think that you and Mason actually, because of his happy-go-lucky and just super open attitude, I think you two actually get along quite well. And you like him because he's like a little brother you can pick on. Because you like poking fun, and he still appreciates it, but he doesn't know how to take it, so he doesn't really retaliate back to you. So that's your relationship with him. So to tell you this is very much in recognition that you guys are close.
All right, Arthur gets a worried look on his face on the news, and he just says, well, I think maybe you need to let me know as soon as you can. And then he just looks very worried that, his friend here, his, younger brother, I guess you could say, is missing. So at that, Arthur's going to wish him an evening and play his pan flute out the door and go fall asleep somewhere.
Okay.
Is it okay that I have somehow in the night bullied Ileana to hang out with me and Tarbok and Tim if he wants to be around to chill with us?
Yeah, I think Ileana definitely was of the mindset that she's warming up to you guys. She was very guarded at first, but she's starting to warm up to you guys. And you guys have kind of spent the night around a table with some drinks, I believe. At that moment, I'm going to spend some time at my table with a drink. We're at about an hour and 20 minutes in. We'll be back in it'll be less than 10 minutes, so you guys don't go anywhere. We're going to have a little bit of background music for you guys to listen to while we go and take a pee break, get a water break, because I feel like some of us are probably a little parched. And I really have to pee. So this is your guys' chance to do it. Come back in 8 or 9 minutes, and we're going to get rolling again. So thank you guys for being here. We'll see you in a few. Hey everyone, I really don't have a whole lot to say in this intermission, but I will remind you, if you want to catch up on everything Ret-Con-Artists, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and CastBox. Let's get back to the show.
Okay!
Welcome back to the Ret-Con-Artists. I am Goat the GM. We have Ruthie the Untold Sitcom, Straxus001, also known as Paul. We have Icosa Hex, also known as Josh. We have Max Anthem, also known as just simply Max. And we have Galabad, also known as Alex. Thank you guys for joining us. If you want to know more about us, feel free to reach out on Twitter. I am going to say 3 things right now. First of all, over the holidays we were kind of in limbo with various factors, and we kind of just had to make sure that we had our break. We were able to rest, relax, plan things out, get ready. But it is 2019, and we really want to hit the ground running for you guys. We want to create some awesome stuff, and we have some really, really cool stuff planned in the future. So first thing, that being said, keep an eye on the Twitter. We're going to try and be a lot more active on that from now forward, and we're going to post updates. We're going to give you guys links when we can, when things are updated. And you can always ask us questions there. And, of course, get involved with the show. If you tweet about the show and you follow us and you're already following us here, if you tweet using hashtag Ret-Con-Artists, we will use your name for an NPC sometime in the future. We're going to add you to a list, and I'll pick from that list as we go. And you can be forever immortalized in Ret-Con-Artist history. Second thing I'm going to tell you. Again, keep an eye on that Twitter. We're going to have a Discord built. We're working on it as we, well, maybe not as we speak, but we're working on it as we go. And we're hoping to have it out to you guys soon. We all, as streamers and content creators, we all have our own spaces that we work out of as well. However, we figure it'll be the best thing to have you guys in one single spot for chatting everything Ret-Con-Artists, so that you all can talk to each other, share your ideas, give us ideas, and of course just joke around with us the way that we like to joke around. Third thing is, and I'm hoping for this soon, TM exactly, I'm hoping by next Tuesday, by the next episode, I want us to be all over on the Ret-Con-Artist Twitch channel. And it is exactly what you think. It is just twitch.tv/Ret-Con-Artists. Feel free to go and follow it now if you want. There's really nothing there, but you're welcome to follow it in advance while you got it right now. Head on over there, hit a follow, because all of the episodes are actually going to stream out of there from now forward. As long as I don't run into any hiccups with getting things linked properly, and I got a lot of time on the weekend to do it though. As well as we're all going to pick a time, and we're all going to have a chance to stream out of that channel individually too. So you might see one of us streaming off of that channel every now and then, because we will all have access to it. And we still have a lot of kinks to work out with that as well. But those are the three things. One, this is going to be a wonderful year. Two, this is a place that we want to create for you in a Discord. And three, we got a channel coming. Our own individual channel, so that I stop directing people to a strange Goat GM channel. And you know what? Let's add a bonus one. 4, thank you guys for being here. We really appreciate you being here through all of this, and we want to be able to include you guys in the future as much as we can with creativity and just fun and adventure. So thank you again. We're going to hop back in it. It is the crack of the old man's ass in the morning at the maintenance department in this mountain base. Tarvok, you have had a night, my friend. Where do you wake up? Are you in your room? Are you somewhere else? Like,
No,
I don't think Bajorn would let him sleep anywhere random.
No, so I wake up and I stretch and I open my eyes and I just see Bjorn staring down.
Yep, Bajorn, gotta help.
Did we not? Did I go to? Are we still in the mess hall?
I didn't want to move you.
That's very sweet of you. Oh, I got a bad case of something. Do you remember where the facilities are? I gotta plant a tree, if you know what I mean. I mean, it's gonna be thick and it's got lots of roots. Bjorn, I gotta poop.
Then go.
I think
I don't.
If you recall, you have a bathroom in your suite in your room.
Oh, but I gotta walk all the way. It's prairie dogging. Oh, it's gonna be bad.
All right, Bjorn, how much did you imbibe last night?
I probably only had a couple of drinks.
Okay.
So I assume that I slept enough to be okay to watch over Tarvok.
Yeah, I think so. So Tarvok, I'm gonna actually make you roll a Constitution check for me, please.
Sure.
Just tell me what you get.
Yeah, 18.
18. All right.
15 plus 3.
You have a really horrible hangover but it's nothing new to you. You're able to handle it. You definitely feel the rum poop coming. And you're able to hold yourself together as you guys walk back towards the quarters, the dorms, if you will. And yeah, you are able to take care of business, if you will. So I know that you guys haven't been back very long and you haven't had a whole lot of time, but what do you have in your room? Like what does it look like for Tarvok in his room? Like how is it appointed?
So, I mean, we've been here only one night previously. I haven't had the really opportunity to do what I feel I would like my room to look. So it's your standard, like, just military bunk for the time being.
Okay.
I'm sure I'll have some stuff to accommodate it. Oh no. So when I go back and I take care of everything, I have my backpack.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like light bulb, and I put my backpack down. I take out the broken lever, and I just look at the walls, and there's like a spare shelf. So I put the broken lever there and go, all right, this will be my memorial wall. So whenever we do something grand or fun, or I just want a souvenir, this is where it's going to go. And I guess I need a place to put some extra things that I have. I don't really own much, though. I'm just scratching my head. I mean, I live off the land for the most part. Okay. It's fine. I make my way back to the mess hall to meet up with Bjorn.
Okay. Bjorn, did you stay in the mess hall, or?
I went to go take care of my own business, I guess, in my room. I still have things to drop off in the room since I don't think we really had any time to
Not really, no.
hang out in our room.
Yeah,
I did request that I said I did request for a shelving unit for my room.
Okay.
But it hasn't been adorned how I wanted it yet, so it's just a plain shelf.
So while Tarvok was taking care of his business, you did take the time to go back and take care of your business. What do you do in your room? How do you have it kind of appointed?
Okay. Well, the bed's gonna be in the back, and the shelf is going to be near or somewhere. I don't know. I'm bad at setting up rooms. Hasn't been adorned.
Wow.
I'm going to take out the 3 trinkets that I got for our most previous adventure. So the locket, the deed to the house, and the cue ball.
Okay.
I'm going to put it on the top shelf extremely carefully. As careful as a giant man can.
Okay.
And then I assume that I can find a piece of paper. I'm going to write a piece of paper. On the piece of paper, Yursa Saxison, and I'm going to put it where I want it to be carved. So I can do that later or have someone else do it. And then I'm basically just inspecting and trying to make the plan out how I want my new shelving unit to look.
Okay. Cool. After you've done that, I take it you guys all kind of regroup back in the mess hall for breakfast and whatnot. Tim, you've been kind of absent for the morning. Nobody's really seen you much. And what have you been up to?
Tim's going to wait for everybody to start convening toward breakfast to show up.
Okay. Is there anything special about your room that you might have noticed throughout the night that you, maybe in the past couple nights, or the only couple nights that you've ever really stayed there, that you've adorned your room with? Or adorned your room with?
No, Tim hasn't done anything to it. And in fact, he hasn't been in his room all night.
Oh, interesting. All right. So you notice Tarvok is heading back to the mess hall. Bjorn's already headed back there as well. What else? What do you...
Nobody knows where Tim is.
Okay. All right. And then...
Nor can they at the moment.
Okay. I'm going to bring that over to Arthur then. What have you... I take it you've... After having your sobering conversation with you've had an interesting night yourself, or?
Yeah, Arthur, he went back to his room, which he has hopefully convinced somebody to install a massive glass skylight in the top of his room. For his roof, so his whole roof is gone. It's just a big glass skylight. And he has a big hammock that hangs like from one corner of the room to the next. He basically sleeps in the hammock in the middle of the room, suspended. and on the floor are his 7 months worth of trinkets and random odds and ends and some clothes. And on one of his walls, he has a massive banner with his family crest on it. And right now, what's on there is just a massive blue crown that seems to kind of glow on its own. The same one that kind of is above his head when he wishes it to be there. He's just kind of like laying there thinking about yeah, Mason was his name, right? Yeah, Mason. Just kind of like pondering his mission while kind of like strumming his not a guitar, what's it called? Lute. Yeah, strumming a lute. Just kind of like looking up at the night sky. Then all of a sudden morning comes and he like, oh, and he hops down from it, leaves his lute up there and he hops down and makes his way out to the wherever the breakfast would be.
Beautiful. All right, you make your way over to the table. You see Tarvok and you see Bjorn already, I believe, probably at the buffet station there with the rest of the people milling about. You guys look around the mess hall and you see zombies. Basically, everybody is either ashen pale or just not present. It was a party and a half. At the buffet, when you all arrive there, is looking sharp as ever Kilroy Bevington. And he turns to everybody and he hears you step up behind him with a plate just piled high with sausage and breakfast foods. And he says, "Ah, breakfast with Bevington again, I see. How are you feeling, everyone?"
I feel fine.
I'm a little worse for wear, but I left most of me problems back in my room. I'll be all right.
Very good. I still demand a rematch sometime. We'll have to tie one on again together eventually.
I'm okay with this idea. It's always good to have another little drinking buddy. We got to give you a nickname. I'm going to call you the Pint.
It's better than Half Pint. I've been called that too many times in my life.
Oh, that's just rude.
Thank you. I appreciate Pint. I've got a table over here. You're welcome to join me again.
We'll get some food first and we'll come over.
All right, so Bevington goes off to his table. You guys are gathering your food. Tim, where the hell are you?
Waiting
Okay.
till everyone sits.
Okay. All right. What are you guys grabbing for food?
Everything. Again. I have to try it again.
Okay.
He hasn't made a decision on whether or not he likes anything. For sure.
Okay.
I had a night of heavy drinking, so I've got a lot of like citrusy fruit. You guys have this weird like it's not fried, but like this doughy thing, and it's like a pan, but it's a cake. So I get a bunch of those.
Beauty.
And then I grab some bacon, because bacon.
Sounds like Newfie food.
Yeah, son. Yeah.
Arthur, what are
Arthur's
you chowing on?
he found a spot at the end of the table and he's got like both feet kind of crossed up on the bench. Unless someone wants to sit down, then he moves his feet underneath the table. But he's sitting there with like a wooden plate or whatever kind of plates they have, and he's just got a bunch of grapes, like strawberries, fresh fruit, some like celery, and then like one egg just kind of like sitting on the plate. And he's just kind of sitting there throwing grapes in the air and catching them and just kind of eating and kind of looking at everybody else, I guess getting ready for the day. He is looking for oh my gosh, I'm forgetting names right now. And I'm Gloria? Yeah, yeah. He's looking for him because he wants to know about Mason. So he's kind of like sitting there tossing grapes, just kind of like eating them and looking around waiting for information. He's very worried.
Okay. As you guys are sitting there too, you see Lush and Ileana actually kind of wandering over with their plates. They've noticed you guys. Ileana sits down first, and Lush kind of sits next to her and kind of snuggles up on the bench next to her. And she you can tell she's a little annoyed, but at the same time, she's in a very good mood still. And she turns to everybody and says, "So, everyone else had a good night, right?"
Yes.
As everybody's sitting there, you can very faintly hear the approaching chinging of coins. Just ever so faintly, because he finally found some time to go back to his room, but as he made a lot of money last night, everybody can hear the chinking just but nobody sees anything.
All right, I need people to roll me a perception check, please. Everyone at the table.
Am I
Oops.
trying to perceive it? Because I don't think
You heard
Bjorn
You
cares.
heard it, but you're trying to one. Okay, if you don't want to, you don't have to.
I have a 15 passive perception, and
Okay.
I'm really focused on my food.
All right.
I rolled
So
a critical fail, sir.
Okay, you are basically like trying not to puke onto your plate right now. Arthur?
Sorry, first roll I've ever made. 16.
16. All right.
Also, Arthur has cast Unseen Servant, and he's having this servant like bring him more grapes. So you guys sometimes might see like grapes floating, and then some ghostly figure appear and set them on his plate and stuff like that.
I
Wonderful.
think I'm still drunk.
Yeah, you guys are all very deep into your food, and some of you hear this clinking of coins as it sounds, but none of you can really see where it's coming from. It sounds like it's coming from the entrance to the mess hall, but none of you really actually
The
notice
sound
it.
is drawing closer to the table as they're sitting there.
Okay. Sorry.
Arthur just stares in the direction of like the noise and just kind of like eats a
Mhm.
grape.
Yeah.
Kind of like just like watching, like wondering what the hell's going on.
Okay.
So then, out of nowhere, Tim's head will appear right next to Tarvox. Good morning, friends.
The fuck is wrong with you? Oh, did you just see how much I drank last night? I'm gonna. Whoa.
Did you make
That's
a
why I
lot
did it.
last night, Tim?
Oh no, I spent some time in the library. Learned a thing.
I was really
I'm gonna get
hoping you were gonna
breakfast.
let me wear your hat while I was drunk, but I couldn't find you. You just ruined my night, Tim.
It's not a puke bucket.
I wanted to wear it, not puke in it.
You say that.
I might have puked in it. Yeah, good call. Good call.
So
Alright.
upon Tim's entrance into the reality, he's just gonna walk and go get food.
Bevington
So-
goes, that's quite a neat trick he pulled there. When
I didn't know he could do it either. That's. Oh.
he must have just
No, I'm
learned
good.
that as
Never mind.
well.
I'm fine. I'm good. Okay.
Yeah, he must have just learned that or something. Have you guys... And I'm going to take this moment now to say, okay, so we're all level 3. Since everybody has last watched, we have leveled up the characters. We'll start with Tarvok. What have you gained since you've reached level 3? Just so people kind of get a gist of what your ranger can do.
So at this point, my ranger has an archetype. So now I'm sorry, tongue-tied. First and foremost, I'm a hunter now, so I can very easily live off the land. It's a wonderful skill set for anyone who wants to be a little bit more self-sufficient. I picked up another spell slot, so I'm an off healer for our party, which is nice. A few of the other real noticeable things, though. Picked up a skill called Colossal Slayer. So now, if I'm attacking a target that has less than its maximum amount of health, I get to roll an extra 1d8 damage, which is always fun. And what else did I learn? Primeval Awareness, which I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember what that does. Oh, as an action, I can use a spell slot to focus my awareness for a whole minute per spell slot, of course. This will set my focus to 1 mile or out to 6 miles if I'm in my favored terrain, and I can sense if any certain types of creatures are present. I can't tell you how many there are or where they're positioned, but I can tell you they're there. And I can do that with aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, the undead. It's actually a really nice little skill.
Holy damn.
It's not bad. I don't think I learned anything else, really. I get some other cool stuff on the next level, and level 5 is actually pretty good, but we'll get to that when we get there.
All right. What about you, Tim? What have you chosen for new spells now that you're back at the table with, I'm assuming, is a very crisp apple?
Indeed. Tim learned how to disappear.
Wonderful.
Really?
And then?
And then there's one other. What's it called? Meta magic. It's the I believe it's called Quick Cast or something to that effect. Quicken spell. Basically turns his a first spell into a bonus action.
Oh my goodness.
Very good.
Double spell. Oh my
Double
goodness.
spell. Double fireball.
Got it. Pew pew. double the opportunity to burn your face off.
His own face, that is. For those of you who haven't quite caught up, feel free to go back and check that first episode where Tim roasted his own head. Cool.
I'm 1 for 1. I've taken a head off with it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
I think you've taken a couple of faces off almost too with it, so.
Seared, but only removed 1.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, we're gonna ask Bjorn, what do you have now? And then after that, I want to go over to Arthur and just update everybody on everything he can do. But first, we'll get the rest of what Bjorn is able to do now.
Okay, so before I could cure wounds and stuff. Okay, I'm just gonna. Okay, so I have cure wounds and detect magic, guiding bolt, fog cloud, shield of faith, and thunder wave. I get fog cloud and thunder wave for the tempest domain stuff. And then my level 2 stuff is I can calm emotions. I have a gust of wind.
Ooh.
I can do a prayer of healing, which is even more healing. And shatter, which is thunder damage.
Very cool.
Smack people.
Super spell cleric now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Shah Arthur. Sorry, I'm gonna butcher this myself too. Taj, something Taj.
Najima
Close
Taj.
enough.
Najima Taj, there we go.
Najima
Shah Arthur,
Taj.
Najima Taj. What is the extent of your abilities? Since we've never really met your character in the past, what is pretty much the gambit of things he can do as a bard? People think that bards are pretty well useless, but I think they're quite handy to have around personally.
Yeah, it depends on the situation. Arthur is useful in certain elements. He oh my gosh, I'm hearing myself. Sorry, I need to mute this. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. He does heal. He can protect himself from falling great distances. He has a tendency to both rile people up with his music, insult them by mocking them, but he can also put people to sleep. He has a lot of different, I guess you could say, supportive ways of helping out the groups he's with as a fixer.
Okay. Very cool.
So without reading through every spell,
Yeah, no.
try to give a gist of it there.
As a bard, he's got a lot of complicated abilities, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I'm gonna talk to this guy until he decides to die.
I will insult you to death.
All
Your
right.
mother was a hamster and your father smelt of elderberries.
No Monty Python here. No Monty Python here.
This isn't that kind of game.
What?
What?
There are those who call me Tim.
Accurate. All right, so you guys are all around the table. Thank you for catching us up to speed on what your characters' classes and abilities are, by the way. You're all sitting around the table, and Bevington he's piling through this food. He doesn't feel the necessity to introduce you guys as much as he did before, but he's still chatting with you guys. Ileana's talking about how she had such a quiet night after the party ended, and Lush is saying how he doesn't even really remember how he got back to his room, but he did. And Ileana's just kind of back to her normal quiet self, and Lush is just being Lush, being his stupid and daft and dense, silly, jovial druid self. Bevington, through mouthfuls of his food, he goes, okay. I apologize for getting back to business. Would like to see you at some point. But first, I think it's important that you might want to go and finally visit our quartermaster. He's been away he goes on his sabbaticals, but he's back, and who knows when he's going to be out the door again. I will warn you. You know what? I'll just let you see for yourself. But when you finished your breakfast, maybe head over to his office. You remember where it is, right?
Sure.
Cool.
Bjorn remembers.
Oh, well, Bjorn remembers. I should know, but
All right. Well, that's good enough for me. I'm just going to be sitting here having breakfast and nursing my.
How are you not
existing-
hungover? Look at you. You're half of me, and I'm. Oh.
Years of practice, my dear boy. That's all I can say. You'll get there. Congratulations
Alright.
on the victory, though.
Oh, thank you. All right, where? Oh, Tim's back. All right, so we're gonna go the quartermaster. Oh,
Okay. So you guys all finish up your breakfast. You leave your plates there because again, there's people who are kind enough to clean up after you guys. And you make your way out of the mess hall. Is there anything in the mess hall that you guys want to say or do before you guys kick out of there?
I'm going immediately to the quartermaster as soon as I finish.
All right. So you are, I would assume, probably the first one out the door. Everyone's following suit. Arthur, are you sticking with the crew here for a bit too?
He watches everyone. He's the last up off the table. So when everyone kind of gets up, Arthur grabs some more grapes and puts like a whole bushel of them in one of his large pockets in his pants. And then he tells his unseen servant to follow him. He just kind of tags along. Just kind of follows him to the quartermaster. He already knows about the quartermaster. He's been there before, I'm sure, in his 7 months of being here. So he kind of meanders over to see what he has.
All right. So you guys make your way through the common lounge area in the center of the entire facility. You cross away to the corner of the room, and you enter into the hallway which holds the quartermaster's office. You hang a left, you go through the door, and you find yourself in probably one of the most strange situations you will ever encounter in your entire life. You enter into a very strangely appointed quartermaster's office, and I'm going to go ahead and let our good friend Ikosa Hex take it away.
yeah!
What's up, everybody? So, as you walk in, you first thing you notice is that there's a smell, kind of acidic, but then also a little bit barnyard. You look to your left, there's a cage, and inside the cage there are 2 or 3 chickens of various colors. As you pan around, there's like terrariums that are holding things or look like they might have been holding things at some point and are empty. There is a large counter that spans the width of the back of this room. And then beyond that, you just see like piles of boxes, just different sizes, weird cloths hung over things. And as you continue off to your right, you see this really large tapestry. And it looks to be enchanted, or you assume that it is, because you can see like waves of things kind of moving around as if they had a mind of their own. And if you look up, directly above you, there's sort of a dome, and there is like a changing color palette, as there's like a sun on one side, a moon on the other, and it sort of seems to be moving ever so slightly as if it were a skylight to the outside. However, it's clearly some sort of magical contraption. And there are baubles just strewn about. You don't see anyone at first. And as you walk in, a little red slime just kind of goes boop, 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 boop. And it's sitting in front of you. And it just sits there for a second. And it kind of looks like it's looking at you, but you're not sure. It doesn't have eyes. And then, suddenly, from the ceiling, you hear this, "Yeah! Finally got you!" Ugh. A man comes barreling towards the ground, and he has a glass cage, essentially, in his hands, and he slams it down over top of the slime, and, catches it. And then he starts to walk over to the terrarium. He's kind of disheveled in appearance. he's average height, ginger, like dark hair. He's got like a Three Musketeer mustache goatee thing going on, leather scraps that look like they've been burned and just put back together at various points. Maybe explosions have happened and torn bits of it off. He's just very very haphazard looking sort of person. And he takes the slime and dumps it into one of the terrariums off to the left, and then he wheels around quickly and is like, "Oh, hello there. I wasn't expecting guests. What can I do for you?"
Answer me a question, if you wouldn't mind. How did you get a rainbow chicken?
There's a rainbow chicken?
Yeah, just look.
That's fascinating. He like runs over and he pulls out a notepad that is like way too big to be like a notepad. It's more of a tome that he was carrying on the side, and starts writing something down. He's not paying attention to you anymore.
Jordan's gonna look at the slime.
Okay.
I'm gonna touch it.
Yes. So you walk over. This slime just sort of is milling about. As you touch it, you take 1 damage of acid as the slime sort of like tries to start engulfing your hand, and then you're like, "Oh, right."
I'm gonna look at my finger like, that was weird.
Yeah, it's made of acid, like most slimes, which is probably why dude was putting it inside of a glass container, and he like sort of notices that you're touching the slime, and he like doesn't address you. He starts addressing the slime. He's like, "Ego, that's mean. You shouldn't burn people like that." And he goes over and he like picks the slime up with his bare hands. Doesn't seem to be burning, and he like kind of like rubs it, like pets it. He's like, there. It's just calm down. I'll get you some food. And then he puts it back and goes over to the chicken container, and he looks like he's about to feed the slime a live chicken. And he continues doing that.
Tarbo, don't you need a new bow?
It wasn't the rainbow chicken. That's good. Yeah, so, I don't know what to call you. We're gonna... Wispy, I guess? Listen here,
Sorry, he's still, like, he's got a chicken in his hands. He's like... walks up. The name's Alistair. Alistair Dwig. I am the quartermaster here. And he, like, throws the chicken at the slime, and the slime starts dissolving it.
That's... Oh, that reminds me of me puke. Anyway, yeah, so I need some materials to fix an old antique bow that I've got.
Oh, sure. Let me just get materials, fix a bow. He like walks over to the counter, goes behind it, and there's just junk strewn across it all over. He kind of moves some of it, picks some of it up, licks something. He's like, nah, throws it behind him. He then like goes underneath for a hot second, and you hear rustling metal things clinking together. Fix a bow.
So
really...
if it helps, I need a few pieces of some starwood and just some slivers of some mithril, and I can do the rest myself. It's fine.
Good lord, I've never had to. I mean, if I had that, I probably wouldn't be using it for a bow. I could get you something else. Something more useful.
It's fine. Look, I'll find the pieces that repair me old bow later. Let's the other quartermaster. We're new members of the maintenance crew. I'm Tarvok, and
Bjorn's looking at the slime eating the chicken.
that's Bjorn. He's special, I guess. Don't leave anything you want kept lying around. He's a kleptomaniac. And Tim is Mr. Moneybags, I assume, because that's all I can think he put in his pockets.
Well, it's nice to meet you all. Sorry, I'm not very good with people.
And at that moment, I think Bevington actually kind of barges into the room a little bit. And he says, Alistair, if you please, they are new inductees. Please, show and tell time. I understand how you love your things, but remember, just the basics of items. We don't want another mishap, remember? And Bevington...
Right.
Clearly, Alistair and Bevington clearly don't get along with each other, so Bevington just kind of leaves it at that, looks at you guys, looks back again at Alistair, and then steps out of the room.
Okay, well, I have some things that I suppose I'm willing to part with. Give me a second. Grabs a pot. It's the most basic, like, black kettle cooking pot that you could imagine. It's just just small. Like about a liter in size. You put a stone in this, boil it, turns into cheese fondue.
Do you have any healing potions?
Oh, okay. Healing potions.
Did you realize he's given us free cheese, right?
That's pretty good cheese. I have had it many times. Also, I need permission to give you healing potions, I think, or I don't actually. Do you have some sort of slip,
I will
something
acquire
from,
one later.
I have money.
Good idea. Well, I don't care about money. It's just a thing. I just have things, I get them from people going on expeditions. I make them. So, money. If you had something to trade, I would love that a lot more. Let me maybe offer you something else. Here.
Before we continue, can I roll a history check really quick?
Sure.
Just based on how you present yourself, saying that you make things.
Mm-hmm.
I want to roll a history check on it.
What are you trying to find out?
I think I know your preferred profession, and I want to like blurt it out.
Oh, I mean, sure.
Whatever. All right, I rolled a 15. I don't know if that's good enough for you or not.
Well, I'm still not totally sure what you want, but I
just want to clap my hands and go, "Oh, you're an alchemist, aren't you? Put things in a pot, and then it's different things, and you make things." Oh, I had a mentor, and he was pretty out there, very similar to another person here in the room, but he knew lots of stuff, and he told me about alchemy, and it's interesting because I'm a stonemason and a metal worker by trade, and I like working with my hands, but you can do so much more.
I thank you. I appreciate it. I break things down and put them back together in different ways, I guess. But also, I'm just good with magic
But you
putting
turn
into things.
stone to cheese. So if I get you like a really rich material, will it turn into like a better form of cheese?
It's a good question. I am not sure.
You're
but
very
I
fixated
will.
on this cheese, and it
That's-
makes me uncomfortable.
Well, do you like
I've never
apples an awful
tried
lot?
putting anything other than a stone into the pot. But I would like to try something else. And maybe I will.
Yeah, there you go. I'll bring you.
Gets his tome out again, starts like making notes.
I'll get you some nice rare material, and we'll have a good time. Ha ha ha.
Ah!
No.
Oh, come on now. That was good.
Anyway, you're all here for things, right? Something, I don't know, something fancy to help you in your journey, I'm sure. Let me see what I can dig up. And he kind of has boxes behind him. He like pries one open, pulls out. He starts pulling things out. It does this for about 5 or so minutes. Grabs certain things. Is like, no. This, maybe this, I guess. These two things. Yes, okay. Let me present you with certain items. Valuable they might be, maybe not. It's for you to decide if you would like them or not, I guess. Here we have, and he holds up this, what looks like a bracelet with just flames coming off of it, but like real flames. And he doesn't seem to be burned by them. If you place this upon your wrist and just wear it for a little while, you can bound off of the flames of any fire high into the air. I've done it a couple times. It's kind of fun.
You
Like
jump.
a trampoline. Yeah, you just kind of hop into the fire. Whew, just go up.
Tarbok, that sounds like an item for you.
I was lost in my own little world. I'm not going to lie. Sorry.
Suck it, little cuz he's a dwarf.
I was thinking about the rainbow chicken. I want to name it something stupid like Beaky, and it's just on my mind. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean,
he has bracelets that can make you jump real high. You did that one jump once.
well, if you were more interested in something chicken-like, I actually have something. One second. And he goes under the counter, pulls up another chicken. This one is like brown, or it's speckled brown, but it's kind of like white, like dirty, and it just looks like a normal chicken. And he holds it out, like, here, try this. Just hold on to this chicken for a moment and whisper into its ear. What is it, girl? Then he goes to hand it over to you, Torva.
All right, I'm game. I'm just gonna just pet the chicken, and
Yes. Yeah, and whisper to it. You have to whisper that. What is it, girl? Like you're asking it a question. And as soon as you say the words, you are no longer looking at the world through your own eyes, but through the eyes of the chicken that you're holding. And you look up at yourself in the chicken's eyes, and you can see your own face.
This is the weirdest.
Really disorienting.
The chicken of truth.
So,
yeah, it's working.
A while ago, I licked a toad based on my old mentors. Oh my god, this is very. I don't think I want this chicken. Can I please give you back the chicken?
Sure. And I take the chicken back. So as you can see, through the chicken.
No, that's that's worse than any hangover.
And
Thank you, but no,
it's
Oh.
really useful. I promise.
no, it's okay. I'm gonna
Can I
stand
have the
back.
chicken?
I'm just
Sure. Yes. So it's a chicken now. If the chicken gets hurt, it turns into a wooden chicken.
Okay.
It turns into a wooden chicken, and then it will turn back later. I'm not exactly sure how that happens, but here you go. Remember, what is it?
How
We'll
do
get
I
you.
stop it from looking?
You can sort of just think your way out of it.
Okay.
Yes, and I'll give you the item details later. But essentially, you can use the chicken as like a sensory manipulation. You send your own eyes and ears into the chicken.
I'm going to gingerly put this chicken in my backpack.
And the chicken doesn't like react like it's very calm chicken
I'm also
compared to other chickens, I guess. I'm not sure.
so that was
So
weird.
okay, the chicken. What else do we have? Here.
I have a pet chicken now.
Arthur. Here, I actually found this recently. You might find it useful. And pulls out a flute, and just kind of looks like a regular wooden flute. The flute has properties I can't play, but if you play and you wanted to, you can make other people perform with you against their will. So that seems like something that you would enjoy.
Freaking people Pied Piper.
So Arthur gets off. He was leaning on the back door frame behind you guys, and he walks up through all you guys, and he walks over to the slime, and he kind of pulls a piece of bacon out of his pocket and drops it in for the slime to eat. And he walks over to Alistar, and he's just, "Oh well, it's nice to see you again, Alistar. Let me take a look." He goes, "This isn't one of those trap ones, is it? I'm not going to play this thing and be teleported. God knows where.
This one won't explode.
I don't want what happened last time. That was
Yes.
Oh, that was well, it was fun, but inconvenient."
We've all been places we don't want to go. Yeah.
You can say that again, friend. You can say that again. And he grabs the flute.
Yes.
Sorry, I missed my push talk button there. He takes the flute from you and he starts playing it. He's just see if it works.
Are you looking at Alistair?
Yeah, he's looking right at him. He just starts playing it.
Okay, so
He actually gets really close to him in case it does explode. Like he's like testing it.
Yeah. So make a performance check and let me know what you get.
Sadly, it's a 9.
A 9. Okay. All right. Well, that's okay because I rolled really low. So as you start to, weave a song and, you're bobbing your head back and forth, you see Alistair. He's also, matching your movements, and he's not talking or anything of his own accord. He's just kind of doing whatever you're doing.
And he hands Alistar his own pan flute while playing the flute thing.
Oh yeah.
Him.
Oh, he
so
totally
he hands them the
grabs
pan
it.
flute.
He joins in.
The two of them to start playing some local gnome bar song and dancing around.
And this is it continues. as long as you're playing.
Yeah, he goes on. It's like maybe like 2 minutes or so. He just kind of looks at the rest of the group like while playing, and then he just like abruptly stops, and then he just holds his hand out to take his pan flute back from Alistair.
And Alistair's like, this is too much.
For an old man there, you did quite a good job. Quite a good job, I must say.
Breathing is hard. Ooh. Well, as you can see, doesn't explode. Anyway.
We'll see. I still have my doubts. And he takes the flute and just kind of goes back to kind of leaning against the counter and just kind of examining it. What does it look like, though?
It is a very basic looking like sideways flute.
It's a
You know,
piccolo.
yeah, like a piccolo, exactly. But yeah, it doesn't really have any markings. It's just made out of like, I guess it's
Mahogany.
like yeah, like it's stained. Like somebody clearly made it and then stained it. It's brown. That's about it.
It plays
Yes.
the brown note.
Yeah.
So Arthur, using his minor illusion ability, he kind of like changes the look of it. He makes it look like it's almost like a see-through blue glass. So it's very it kind of glows the same way like his crown does, and it hovers over his head. So he just kind of like holds his hand over it. It changes the look of it, and he just kind of takes it and he slips it into his pocket.
Nice. Let's see. What else do we have here? He pulls out what looks just like a 6-foot iron pole. He's like, this is pretty useful. I think you can, you can basically make multiples copies of this thing. And he pushes the button on it, and a second iron pole that is the exact same color and length just pops into existence like 2 inches away from it. And he like kind of puts it out, waiting for somebody to grab it. So
I'll grab it.
yeah, hands it over. The poles that generated from it only last for about an hour, but they are pretty useful. I've never seen one break. So you can jam a door with it, or I don't know, maybe use it as a quarterstaff. It's up to you.
Is there a way to make it smaller?
Unfortunately, no. It's just a 6-foot iron pole. But, you know, you could use it for a lot of things. I mean, you can make 4 of them.
I'm gonna make.
You're creative, right?
I guess I also have an iron pole now. I just wanted to. You're giving the klepto cleric stuff.
Yeah, that's fine. And then he's like, "Oh yes, okay. This is actually very interesting. Hang on one second. Here. He takes out what looks like just a wooden sphere inlaid with gold and silver arcane markings. It's about 2 feet in diameter, and then he takes out an exact replica of it and puts it side by side, and so there's these 2 spheres right next to each other, and he says, "Here, Tim, was it, right? Here,
Yes.
hold this. Go on the other side of the room."
Alistar, it's not gonna blow him up now, is it?
It's not, I promise it would. It
To my choice.
probably
I'm
won't
warning
blow
you.
up. It's,
I'm warning you.
I've only seen. Never mind. Anyway, so
All right.
go to the other side of the room and keep it closed. And I'm going to go over here. And he takes the other one. And he like goes to the very opposite side of the room, and he puts inside of it. He just like takes his quill, and he puts it inside of it, and then he closes the sphere. It has like a hinge, and so he opens it, and then he puts a quill inside, closes it, and then he says, "Okay, now you open that." And the quill is in there now.
It's a Pokeball.
And then he opens his, and the quill is not in the one that he is holding anymore. So you can transport things. They sort of switch places, as it were. And anything you could fit inside that is not living.
I don't want to know how you found that out.
I guess we can't put Tarbok in there.
It's a ball. I'm not gonna fit inside a ball.
Maybe if it was a fridge.
This is
Just gonna say
the only fridge around here is me.
But yes, unfortunately, you need both of them in order to make it work. So perhaps one of you could carry one, the other could carry the other, and you can
So you're
switch
saying that-
things back and forth.
I couldn't leave it in my room. Place things in there. And then leave.
You could do that. The problem is it's sort of instantaneous. So once you place something in the one orb, then close both of them, it transports. And so it would just be like you were carrying it anyway if you left something in there and took the other one with you. I guess you could leave one and then carry the other and then put stuff back. But the other problem is, once you open and close it again, that stuff will just come back again. It's a two-way trip.
I'm sorry. I don't see a use for this at the moment, but thank you.
All right.
Tim will just be
Anyone wants to take it. Bjorn's just like...
Bjorn,
He's happy to give it away.
you got a chicken in a pole that replicates itself. Do you really need a magic ball that lets you put things inside it?
These are very important items. With the replicating pole, we could make a barricade.
Okay.
A whole bunch of poles, and you row it in front of something. And with the chicken, we can use it to spy on people, because I am not a sneaky man.
This is a smart man.
And with the balls, what if we get separated from each other? We can send each other notes.
If we're separated, how would we know when to open it?
I guess we just keep opening it until there's a note inside.
Well, you would just close it, and then wait.
But then you have to open
It
it.
doesn't ding. It's not. Ding, message
Like a
received.
microwave.
Very
man.
smart. Very smart.
You got mail.
So,
I'm taking it, Tarbok.
as you can see, quite clever. Yes, I like that. If you want something more traditional, I have a here. Takes out a little white, like ivory-looking stick, and holds it out, and you can see off of the tip of it. He holds it like a wand. You know what a wand is. And off the tip of it, you see this little spider just kind of like And he like looks at it and he goes, "Oh, there he is. This is simply just a wand that casts a web at things, restrains them, makes things sticky, yeah, that all that sort of thing. Pretty good for combat.
That'll do.
Sure. There you go." And hands it over.
Spider-Man.
Does it has a trigger word? Does he have to fling his wrist out kind of weird to get it to work?
Just-
Only when the wand has a charge.
And let's see. Does anyone like hats? I have a very interesting hat. And he goes.
Go on.
He goes down. He like puts the hat on, and it kind of just looks like one of those like floppy newsboy hats, except
Never mind.
that on the except that on the sides there are like short, stubby little tentacles just kind of drooping down. He like flops it around like, "Look, I'm a carrion crawler." And anyway, if you've ever met a carrion crawler, they suck. If they bite you, you get paralyzed. The hat basically does that. Pretty useful if you're, somebody who doesn't like getting attacked in combat, and get the melee, and the hat'll smack somebody for you. It's pretty useful, straightforward. Not my style, but somebody else could wear it. What about you, Bowman? Hey, you like tentacles, I'm sure.
Who doesn't like tentacles?
Well, part of me is like, well, my real full name is Tarvok Hiroshima Ironclad.
Oh Lord!
You know what? I'll take your paralyzing hat. Why not? Give me the weird hat. I'll take the hat.
And he like kind of like throws it at you. And the tentacles like slap you a little bit.
Oh, so this.
Great.
I wonder. It's actually quite
Made-
warm.
You made fun of me for taking the teleportation devices, and you have a webby hat.
Listen, I could paralyze your giant ass now. I won't,
doubt
but I
it.
could.
I
Oh,
doubt it.
really? Get him, hat.
Okay. Finally, I have these jars. So I mislabeled them at some point, and I'm not totally sure which one is which. But one of them is a jar of sleep storing, and the other one is a jar of sheep storing. They're both useful, but one clearly more different than the other, and I don't have a sheep around, so maybe you could figure out which is which and let me know.
I will take the jars.
Just try to shove a whole sheep into one of them.
Okay.
If it doesn't go in, you'll know that is the sleeping jar.
Okay. I'll put it in my bag, I guess, with my chicken.
We're going to be making sheep tartare, or we were just gonna blend
Why
one
are we
into
storing sheep?
No. The sheep are completely safe. They go to like an alternate sheep heaven dimension. Where they
die?
eat grass. No. They're stored in there. It's kind of like a pocket sheep dimension where they, you shove them in there and then but they're full size on the other side of the. It's fine, whatever. Just
Yeah, man, I got a pocket full.
Alistar, can we get the sheep back?
Rally around your family with a pocket
Yes!
full of sheep.
Come back.
The sheep do come back, but like you have to, reach into the jar.
What if we shake the jar?
Oh, I've never tried that.
Oh, I think he's onto something.
He takes out his tome and like writes. It's like.
We could have like projectile sheep. It's like
Well,
a
there's
lamp.
nothing more terrifying than a herd of sheep.
It's possible.
Better than a tentacle hat.
Listen,
I mean-
you leave my hat alone. Me and Tenty, we're going to get along just fine.
I'll tell you what though, the sleep storing jar, very useful. You can basically just use a whole night's sleep just by drinking the liquid that stores inside when you're asleep. And but the problem is you have to sort of use it when, like, you have to store the sleep. It's very complicated magic stuff, and yeah, it's fine. I'll help you figure it out later.
It's actually just a jar of fucking chloroform.
If you breathe this in, you'll go to sleep. Just stick your nose right down in there. And
Does this taste like GHB to you?
You'll wake up rested.
Yeah.
Oh man, what happened? It's
Sweet-
been like 4 days.
Sweet
Oh.
dream liquid. Well, I think that might be everything I have. Let me just check here real quick. The cheese pot. I got the cheese pot. The fire poles. Something.
Alistar,
Yes.
does this only work on people? The
The-
flute thing. Yeah.
Oh. No. I'm pretty sure. The answer is no. But he's sort of like.
Wait, so it works on anything?
It might not work on, like.
He goes over the
I-
slime.
Oh yeah. Slime.
So he goes over the slime and he starts playing to see if the slime starts kind of dancing around.
Okay, make a performance check. See what you.
Oh wow, yeah, that's like a 24.
Good lord. Yeah, slime not very wise. This you see the slime kind of like quiver like back and forth as you are trying to make it dance. Like it's hard to know that it's dancing other than the fact that it's just kind of like.
I was picturing like Flubber. I was picturing it like
Yeah.
forming into a person. It's just like,
Saturday
Flapping
Night
around.
Live, what?
Yeah,
Alistar, when are you gonna let me take the slime?
well, I can't let you take the slime. It's not. I mean,
Oh,
it's
I
not
don't know
even
about
mine.
that. Technically, it's an item. It's a weapon.
It doesn't belong to me. I'm just merely taking care of it while my protege is off doing his own. So I would say that you could ask him when he gets back. Whenever he does get back, I'm not sure. He's probably trying to find more slimes. Nico here has been very lonely.
Alistar, could you turn around for a moment?
What?
Could you turn around?
What's behind me?
And I try to pick up the slime with like some like container box that's nearby.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah,
So if there's like a little box, he's like, get in. Like, get in.
the container that he like used to catch it earlier is sitting right there on the table next to the terrarium, so you could try and use that.
Yeah. Well, but I ask the slime to get in too. I don't like just like I try to like goad him in, but like,
Oh, I see. Okay, you're like
Get in your
I-
kennel
I-
right
I-
now.
asking the slime.
yeah, Yeah.
The slime does not
polite.
seem to respond to your asking.
All right, then I scoop it.
It just sits there. You scoop it. Okay.
Yeah, I just
Okay. Make a sleight of hand check. See if Alistair notices.
hang on. It's a 7 plus one of my modifiers are. Oh, 8. So an 8.
Good lord. Yeah,
Terrible.
he's totally oblivious. He actually, starts like, he's like, is it this thing? Were you looking for another? I don't know exactly. What are you looking for? And just does that for like 30 seconds. Completely
then in place-
oblivious.
In place of the slime, I smushed like a bunch of strawberries together that I had, and I kind of put them like in the spot of where the slime was, to look like the slime, So
All right.
I pictured it as red. I don't remember what color you said it was.
You did say it was.
Yeah,
red.
yeah, it's red. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's like a kind of bloody red color.
Wonderful.
I put another piece of bacon into the container, and I kind of put it in my pack.
Okay. That is all of the things I have.
Yeah,
to show you
as
guys.
Arthur slams his strawberries down. Well, not slams. Sorry, puts his strawberries down on the countertop. Bevington once again comes barging into the room and he says, "Alistair, what's taking so long? Are you giving them practical things, I hope?"
You look over at Bajorn, who has now a chicken iron pole and 2 giant wooden.
And Bevington does notice this, and he just looks and he goes,
They are useful, I promise.
"Goodness gracious."
Bevington, please define. Please define that.
Define what? I'm sorry.
Now. Useful.
These things
Well-
are useful.
Thank you, tall one. Well, Alistair and I might not always see eye to eye. He does have his methods, and they haven't failed us. So you know what? Has been requesting to see you as of 3 hours ago, actually, and you've all. I mean, I had breakfast with you. I shouldn't take the blame there. Let's go, chip chip. Thank you, Alistair.
Oh, one more thing before Bevington. Maybe after he leaves, and then as I have one more thing to give.
I'll be waiting in Um's office. You know how to find your way there.
Yes.
Alright, and Bevington clicks his heels and steps out of the room again.
Finally. Okay, now that he's gone. Here, take this coin. I'm not supposed to do this, but I want, I gave you those 2 jars, and this will help you communicate with me before you get back. Maybe you need something.
I take the coin.
Yes.
Not fight him.
On
Hey,
this
you
episode
are.
of Hoarders.
If you just press the I on the one side and hold it, I should be able to hear you. And it's the same I'm stealing your coin idea, Ken. It's the same coin that Bevington was going to use to flip for the ale and the rum, but this one has a depressible button that just looks like the eye.
And it screams when you press it.
Yeah. But yeah, I should be able to hear you, and let me know how things go with the items that I've given you. Anyway, toodaloo.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ikosa Hex. I'm gonna give a clap for Ikosa Hex for his first debut as a character in our show as well. Very well done. He sent me these items earlier, and I lost my shit when I first read them.
Yeah,
So.
I will send you guys the actual item blocks for them, and they might make a little more sense.
Yes, and that
Especially
being
the
said,
slime.
Oh,
those of
yeah.
you watching, I also want you guys to know we're going to be taking suggestions. Icosa Hex is going to be our curator for items that you guys, if you want to suggest it. So if you tweet out an item with hashtag Ret-Con-Artist, we're going to come up with a template for you guys. We'll post it in the Discord when it's live as well. But if you have an idea now, feel free to tweet it out with hashtag Ret-Con-Artists. And then Josh will be able to find that on Twitter, and he'll be able to use that in Quartermaster encounters in the future, hopefully.
And I love any idea that you have, no matter how stupid it is.
Yes, there will be some general rules around it. Of course, it has to be appropriate for stream, and it can't be completely game breaking. It has to be something that's kind of within the level that the characters are at. So if it's too OP, he might tweak it a little bit, but he'll generally try and keep your guys' ideas original. So make sure you guys do that. Get on your Twitter, hashtag Ret-Con-Artists. You can add items to our game, and the characters can come across them or be given them, or even come across them and bring them back to our friend Alistair. And yeah, thank you again. I appreciate it, Icosa X.
No problem.
All right. So as you guys are stepping out of... Whoop, that's the wrong screen. There we go. That's the right screen. Growing pains. As you are all stepping out of the Quartermaster's office, I'm just going to hit refresh here because Paul is getting a little bit choppy in his video. Yeah, your internet's dropping a little bit.
My internet connection's being...
That's fine. We will just quickly hit the refresh. Boom. Welcome. Well, I still just see your face frozen. Oh no, there it is.
I just reconnected. Yeah, I just lost connectivity completely.
Okay,
So-
no worries.
Kind of a pain.
That's fine. And Ruthie and Alex, if you wouldn't mind hitting your reconnect as well.
No, it's gonna keep doing it.
Is it? Okay. Well, we still got your audio. If you have to drop your video for now, that is totally fine. Yeah. Sorry, folks. We're just having a couple little difficulties here, but it happens. So, anyways, we're going to do this quickly. You guys basically are ushered to Gloriero's office, and as you're brought in, is not as happy as he was the night before. Arthur, your suspicions are quite confirmed. There's definitely something going on, and actually looks like he may have been stressing like crazy. He may have even shed a few tears over something in stress. But he sees you guys walk in, and he says to you all, "I can't lose my boy. I need your guys' help." And that's where we're going to leave it.
Yeah, that says I'm
I
in.
was gonna say, where are we going?
All right. And that's where we're going to leave it for tonight, you guys. Thank you again for joining the Ret-Con-Artists. As we lose the video feeds for Paul and Alex, we can, I believe, still hear them at this point, though. Yeah. There he is. Perfect timing for technical difficulties. Thank you guys again for being here. Please don't forget to follow us on Twitter. Keep your ears open for when we're going to be dropping that Discord. And when we come back next Tuesday, go to twitter.tv/Ret-Con-Artists, and you should be able to catch us there for every episode going forward. We're still going to be hosting it when we can, from our own streams, of course. However, this is where we're going to be going from now forward, is that new channel, Ret-Con-Artists, just so it makes more sense for you guys to be able to go there as a hub for everything Ret-Con-Artists, everything D&D, as well as the Discord that we're creating. Anybody have anything they want to add before we dip out tonight?
Nope.
Nope. All right. Well, I'm
Can't wait for more sessions.
Yeah, I'm excited.
It's going to be a great year, you guys. Thank you again for being here. We love you all, and we hope to see you next Tuesday. Have a great, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful night.
We'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Thanks again for being a part of the Ret-Con-Artists. We're excited to start our next mission next week, Tuesday at 9 p.m. Central Time, so make sure you're there for that. In the meantime, we're going to be working on the new Twitch channel, as well as a new Discord for you all to join in and discuss everything Ret-Con-Artists. We hope you have a great week. Thanks for watching and listening.